G'day guys and welcome back to Casual Rage.
Excuse me, I'm Tim.
And I'm Greg.
Go fuck yourself, Disney. Hello everyone and welcome to Casual Rage 47, where we casually rage out about the topics of the week. And it has been a very, very, very interesting week. We've got some Marvel to talk about, as per usual. We've got some Star Wars to talk about, as per usual. It's going to be a good one. I feel we've got, I got my rage on. I'm ready to go.
Rage on.
Yeah. But yes, welcome. And of course, welcome to my very, very kind friends for joining. Greg, how are you? Oh, sorry. Sorry, Grand High Priest. Grand High Priest.
Holy Order by my honorific title. Thank you.
Sorry, my mistake.
Use the right pronouns. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Use
the right pronouns. I am ready to rage tonight.
Awesome. I think we're all ready to go. I'll tell you what. There's some retarded shit going on out there, I'm telling you.
That's not the narrative. Fuck. The whole world, goddamn world is, but fuck it. Let's watch it burn.
We're ready for it. Tim, how are you? Open airlock policy.
Great. Old school headbanger from back in the day. And I'm ready to go. But I'm also the guy on stream with camera on that's on the bottom. That's who I am.
With camera on that's on the bottom? Yeah, because see, if I put you here, it's not too bad.
No, not too bad at all.
I'll be the bottom.
Well, you don't even have your camera on. It should be equal, because it's unfair. So
equality.
They should shrink the size and put all three on top, right? But then you're on the left, so you're first. So that's unfair. We have to make everything fair. So
yeah, there's just no equality in this world.
No.
Yeah.
Tragic.
Yeah.
Fucking toxic males. All right. Hello everyone. Hello everyone in the chat. We've got Mike, we've got Riff, we've got Christopher. I saw you, Christopher. Now you can hate the trailer, you can trash the trailer, you can like the trailer. I don't care that much. I do agree with you, and we've got a bit to say on that. But yes, I'm so torn with Marvel at the moment, and I'll go into why very, very soon. Nitrium, is that how you say it?
I think so. Nitrium, maybe?
Nitrium. Cell Shade. Yes, the beautiful... Oh, I'm not even wearing it. I was about to say the beautiful design of this T-shirt, but it's not this T-shirt. It's the narrative.
You're not wearing a narrative fuck t-shirt? What's going on?
No, they're both in the wash. And they haven't sent me the third one. Can you believe the order's still not fulfilled? It's been fucking ages. Anyway, E. Clay Thomason, of course, all my channel members, thank you all for your support. I really do appreciate that. We've got OG Star Wars, another channel member. Yes, please smash that like button. Please, please, please. We've got Roger H in the chat for $1.99 Canadian, $2 with a thumbs up.
Raj.
Thank you. As per usual, Roger's always around. Metal Long is in the chat. We've got Trey in the chat. Let's see. We've got Lost Jedi in the chat. That fool.
Look at like the disgust he says when he's we got Lost Jedi in the chat.
We've got Timon. $2.
It's the pair.
It's the pair. Thank you. Doing what?
Hey you.
Hey you.
Yeah.
There you go.
Some kind of weird dance thing. Yeah.
Yes. And you can get your merch. Check the link in the comments below. Riff just got his Narratives Fucked water bottle, which is awesome. Loving the fact that these are all going out there. All right, let's get into the first thing for the night, and we are going to get straight into the Spider-Man stuff. Now, I do just want to go back up because I want to highlight these comments here. Again, just bringing this back up for you, Christopher. Now, there is a lot of discussion around Doctor Strange and his decision to help Peter in what he's doing, and the fact that the story, Christopher thinks that it's a bit pathetic. I'm going to bring it up. First of all, what did you guys think of the trailer?
Didn't see it.
You haven't seen it?
No. Never been a Spider-Man fan ever. Like,
wow.
I don't think I've seen any of the Tobey Maguire movie. Is that his name?
Yeah.
All the way through. I think I've seen most of 3 and some of the other 2. I like the Macho Man scene. And what is that, in 1, I think?
Yeah, it's the first one.
Yeah, that was a good scene. But I just have never been a Spider-Man fan. And it goes all the way back. Yeah, it was. It goes all the way back to the early 80s. And I just was always, I liked Marvel, and stuff like that. But I was more of a DC guy. X-Men, when they became a big thing in the late 80s, early 90s, then my love for Marvel really took off. But Spider-Man, I think I have like 2 comics in total from Spider-Man. One of them is from when they did a relaunch, like in 98, I want to say. But I just have never been into the character. So, yeah, wow. I'm just not really interested to give 3 minutes of my time to this.
Yes. Now, I do want to also point out, sorry, Greg, just before you do, is this a correct trailer? Yes, it is the correct trailer. I do realize that I got fooled by a fan-made trailer that they reported as a theater release trailer. I understand. I got done. Yes, you can all have a laugh at my expense. I'm an idiot. I put it in a video. It's there forever. Too bad, Rhino. Greg, did you see it? What do you think?
I did see the trailer, and what do I think?
Keys.
The premise of this movie is asinine. And the whole thing, I've enjoyed the Spider-Man movies to a degree. Like, I wouldn't say I'm a fanatic about them. I didn't like the Amazing Spider-Man as much. And I have my complaints about each one of them, but I really don't. I'm not excited to see Doc Ock and Alfred Molina come back as Doc Ock, or William Dafoe to come back as Green Goblin, or to see Andrew Garfield, or to see Tobey Maguire. Like, none of that is interesting to me. I just know that the premise of this movie is basically, boo-hoo. He rubs his stupid lamp, and out pops Doctor Strange, and we have a careful what you wish for generic garbage plot.
Mm-hmm. You know what this reeks of? This whole, bringing in this guy. It reeks of what they're doing on the what the fuck is it called? The CW. it reeks of what they're doing with DC stuff, and like, hey, let's do this big crossover, multiverse crossover, and bring in the old Superman and the other old Superman, and let's talk to Michael Keaton. Yeah,
and it's going to be a cluttered clusterfuck too. Like you're not going to get a whole lot of screen time for all these people that they're bringing back in. It's just going to be like, it's going to be member berries. Look here, look here, look here. But the underlying story underneath it is that he makes a wish that he regrets. It's fucking an Aladdin story. It's Wonder Woman 84.
Arabian Nights.
It's like
oh, you bastard.
All right, you got me. But like it's just such a stupid, dumb story. So the last movie, you have this tease like, oh my god, the world knows who Peter Parker is now, or who Spider-Man is Peter Parker, and then we get this kind of like montage, and then he mopes his way to fucking Strange, and then Strange, for some asinine reason, is just like, yeah, we're gonna brainwash the whole world. And I'm like, okay, but does the magic undo all the newspapers that are laying around? Does it undo all the YouTube videos and all the text messages, and like how, like, just doing this the worldwide Superman 2 kiss of amnesia doesn't change what's in print. And it was all over the news and on fucking billboards. They showed it like Times Square, 3 massive billboards with half of Peter Parker's face and half of Spider-Man's face. Like, how does a spell to make people forget work when there's reminders, physical reminders of the truth all over the place? It's just. And then, he botches the spell because he gets distracted. There's no, he couldn't have stopped the spell at any point, or they didn't even discuss the parameters of the spell. They were just yeah, let's do it. Boom.
Yeah.
And then he fucks. Well, that's so stupid.
Fair enough. Dumb. Fair enough. I will say, granted, it is a trailer, and we haven't heard the entire dialogue of everything that goes on. But based on what we do see, you're not wrong in regards to his carefree way of
it's just let's do it.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Look, I think most people here probably did watch my reaction to it. Whether or not the nostalgia got me or not, I still
fell for this.
I did fall for the keys, and I thought about it afterwards, and I'm like, yeah, maybe I did, right? I'm still going to see it. I still love Spider-Man as a character. The thing that annoyed me is that they start off with this piece of dialogue. If you watch the trailer, she's basically reading the newspaper and saying it's they're reporting it as like a rumor that apparently Spider-Man can.
She's reading a tabloid. I thought this was kind of amusing, actually. But
yeah. Just what annoys me about it is because. There's the whole women thing and, white toxic male and all of this kind of thing. Again, being hypersensitive to it. I just want to quickly get this before it disappears. Alora sends a $5 super chat saying, according to Disney Lucasfilm, Luke Skywalker is just a device to use. We will get into the Star Wars stuff, trust me.
He's a big first dildo.
Well, I was about to say, it almost sounds like a sex toy in the shape of Luke,
Yeah.
Which
we're on the same page,
people
Tim.
I know may buy, so, and so some girls I may know also may. So,
in you.
Yeah.
So they're reading the paper. And then, of course, it's all about...
See, that's what I mean. You see that, gigantic billboard. How does this Doctor Strange spell undo that?
Well, yeah, that's good. I don't really know.
It's dumb.
I understand. I do view it, though. It's very comic book. If you were to read this storyline in a comic book...
I think it was dumb.
It might be dumb, but there are a lot of comic book stories that are sort of similar to this. in a way.
So Rhino, like the fact that the stormtroopers couldn't shoot in Empire or in Return of the Jedi, then it's okay in the Mandalorian.
Yeah, they make a good point.
Dumb is dumb, man.
Yeah, and you know, guys, there are 50, 60, 70, 80 years of comics, right? There have been writers and artists, frankly, stretches that have been good and stretches that have been bad. You know what I mean? So just because it's in the comic, you know, doesn't mean just because it's in the source material, in my opinion, doesn't make it good. So
I wonder. I'm just.
Did you get Timon's super chat?
No, not yet.
Oh.
I will get there in just a second. I just want to. So let's get to Doctor Strange.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Where the fuck is Edith?
Who?
Okay, so in the second Spider-Man movie,
The glasses.
the glasses controls this super network of highly militarized like super drones that Tony Stark somehow created between the time of the snap and Endgame, but didn't think to use during Endgame, but it still exists. And he has this super satellite, and he gifts the entire control of it to Tom Holland, Spider-Man here, Peter Parker. And you know that was another issue. Was like he didn't want the responsibility; he just wanted to be a kid. So basically, he gave it up to Mysterio, and Mysterio had ulterior motives, of course, and tricked him, and all this other thing. But like the satellite, the massive weapon that's in orbit around Earth that can deploy thousands of drones at a time to do all sorts of attacks and everything. Like nobody is concerned. Like who's controlling that at all?
Well, again, we haven't
find that really interesting. Like the world building because of Endgame and Infinity War, and the 5-year gap. The world building in this universe really sucks now. Like,
but maybe we don't know. Maybe he goes to Pepper and he goes, "Here, I can't have these," and gives them to Pepper.
Okay,
I'm just saying. We've only seen a trailer. I understand that there are holes, and if they don't answer those holes, well, then yes, fair enough. But
the holes were in the last movie, though. For one, like, how does that thing even exist? Tony Stark died in Endgame.
Yeah.
So between Endgame, so he had to have created that entire thing before the events of Endgame. Correct?
Well, maybe he invented it between Infinity War and Endgame.
With the intention of giving it to a guy who was snapped out of existence.
Well, maybe not with the intention of giving it to him, but then when he came back, well, he didn't have time to set that up, did he?
And he didn't use it in the battle. That's the problem, Rhino. The entire battle with Thanos' army and that huge, gigantic... He didn't use Edith at all.
Yeah, fair enough.
So it didn't exist. It's just garbage world building.
Fair enough. Let me get this. $5 from Timon. This is fucking one more day. Is that are these like the name of comic books?
Yeah.
One more day is it? Yeah.
Plus Trail of Peter Parker. The story that broke Spider-Man in the
Spider-Man
comic book.
fans hate the trial or the
Fuck
one more
Disney.
day thing.
Was that done by JMS? By the guy that did Babylon 5? That he fucked up Spider-Man.
So basically, they are adapting
it
from a comic book, but it was never a really loved comic book. Is that what you're getting at?
Oh, it's written by J. Michael Straczynski.
I told you,
Joe Quesada. Yep.
And he did all. And look, again, I'm not a Spider-Man fan, but I used to read all the trades and stuff on comics because I was into other comics. And he also did the shit like where Norman and what was it, Mary Jane? No, the other one. What's her name? What's the other bitch's name?
Gwen Stacy.
Gwen Stacy. And Norman were together and all kinds of weird shit. Like,
yeah.
The only good thing he's ever done is Babylon 5, ever. All of his other shows and comics have sucked.
One more day is basically Aunt May gets blown away and like Peter makes a wish with Mephisto, I believe. And of course, like, it's another careful what you wish for. There's consequences. Like, this is such a overused plot device in all media, not just comic books, but like all media. Like,
it seems a strange way to use. No pun intended, I promise. A strange way to use Doctor Strange here. Like, it seems like he would give him like advice, instead of just like, here are
Instead
3
of just
wishes.
actually doing it.
Well, and like a guy that's that powerful that can just like brainwash the entire planet, like, boy, you were kind of like, what were you doing during Endgame and Infinity War? Were you just like pulling your punches, or just like slacking, or like what, dude?
I don't understand. Like, I'm thinking about what you sort of said, Greg, regarding like all the written stuff, all the published stuff and everything. I'm just wondering, like, obviously this dives us into the multiverse again. People are going, Doctor Strange opens the multiverse. Doctor Strange opens the multiverse. Did no one watch Loki? Gee, it's interesting, isn't it?
Right.
But like maybe with the spell, he's trying to rip off like something from the multiverse to bring into his universe to make Spider-Man unknown. I don't know.
See, I got the impression from the trailer, and of course it is just a trailer, but I got the impression that the spell didn't go as planned. And because it didn't go as planned, that opened up the multiverse, because Peter was distracting him while he was doing the spell, because they didn't even discuss the spell before he started casting it, I guess. And because Peter's like, what about MJ? Don't make her forget. And like, and Aunt May, and then and Ned, don't forget Ned. And he's like, Strange is like, you're screwing me up, kid. And you just get the impression that he botched the spell, and that's what opened up the multiverse. Like, because if Doctor Strange is willing to open up the multiverse because Peter Parker's having a bad day, like I'm sorry, then Doctor Strange needs to die. He's an enemy.
Yeah,
he's a bad guy. He's a bigger risk than like a black kryptonite Superman.
Iron Boy is Strange Boy now. Yeah, so he steps inside the circle. So I don't know. He's fucking with
Yeah, because he's just like, you're screwing things up. Like, you get the impression right here that like it didn't go as Doctor Strange expected it to. Like, something went wrong.
Yeah. And then he's got that thing about the multiverse we know almost nothing about. And
here's the funny thing. So to go back to that device thing, right? The meme of this is way better, by the way. The meme where it's Tobey Maguire in the black dancing on the train from Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like that. I saw that video online. That was fucking funny. But like, okay, so if Doctor Strange, if it's a time thing and he rewound time to the point where then nobody knew, and he got rid of all the written material, the newspapers that like could be laying around, the ones in the newspaper, the doctor's office, and magazine articles, all the stuff on the internet. Like, if he somehow rewound time, and it's like, well, then why didn't you do that during the whole Infinity Saga? Like, dude. And like, how do you do it? You don't even have the time stone anymore. So like I don't get Doctor Strange's spell here, or the logistics or the logic behind it.
Yeah.
And when I can bust apart the premise of your movie from a 3-minute trailer, you're off to a really bad fucking start. Like,
hopefully,
no matter how much.
Yeah. Hopefully, someone is watching and they can do some reshoots really quick, and
It's so funny. The more like I think about this movie and hear people's arguments about it, the more I I'm less excited for it. I do.
Yes, I've ruined it for you. Mission accomplished.
Yeah, that can happen. What is that? I saw people
He's
doing
like,
these.
Astro, he punched him out of his body.
No.
Like
No. The box that he's holding.
idea.
I've seen people doing like Easter egg videos and stuff like that. I just haven't jumped into it at all. Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, and see, the rest of it is just image you're familiar with.
Yeah, nostalgia.
It's just, there's Happy. There's Ned. Green Goblin. There's a pumpkin bomb. Doc Ock.
Yeah.
And they saved it, of course. The next trailer or teaser is going to have either Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire in it, because they didn't put that in this one. So, they have that for the next one to really get. I mean, from a trailer point, this is a very successful trailer. Like, it got a shit ton of buzz. Like, so they're all patting themselves on the back after this thing.
Is that new footage right there?
This?
Yeah.
Well, this is from the trailer.
I know, but is it new footage?
Oh yeah. They've just they're just de-aged him.
Gotcha.
Well, why is it that they're de-aging technology? I think that looks really bad.
Yeah, it does.
Well, like, you don't like the idea is, like, if he came out, or if he got like pulled from his multiverse, like right before he died, like you can't have him be older, so you kind of don't have a choice. You got to try and de-age the guy.
Well,
maybe for the
are they going
trailer,
to de-age? Are they going to de-age Toby? Are they going to de-age?
I assume they will.
Really?
Well, see, but like, okay, Tobey
Why don't
Maguire.
they just have him older.
Tobey Maguire, though, doesn't look that much older than he did then. Like, he's always has kind of like a boyish look to him.
No, I understand that, but they're so intent on sticking around Spider-Man's teenage years. Like, this is your chance. Yeah. Bring Toby back as a fucking 30-year-old fucking Spider-Man.
30-year-old. That Spider-Man's like 20-some years old, man. He's a 40-something-year-old Spider-Man now.
Okay, bring him back as a 40-year-old Spider-Man. Whatever.
It's been almost 20 years since that movie came out.
A 40-year-old actor, especially him being his baby features, he could pass for probably a 35-year-old, not a 40-year-old. But yeah.
I just think that looks like my grandma.
Yeah.
I just think that looks.
It does kind of look like he's got that. Yeah.
Like, you know how the old ladies put on the extra foundation, and you know
what's going to come out. Some fan's going to do some face thing and do a better job of what they're doing with millions of dollars.
Yeah.
You got to remember too, this is a rush trailer too, so I think that they have time to re-render these shots.
E. Clay Thomason, that's Pat. Remember that SNL skit?
Yes.
I don't think I know what you're talking about. But look,
they weren't that good, but the premise was funny.
Yeah.
That other trailer got me. It wasn't a real trailer, so that got me. But look, like my first initial, I got excited for this. This is the other thing too, and this is why I'm torn on all Marvel stuff. Thank you, Greg, for reminding me. This is why I'm torn though on everything to do with Marvel, is because we've had WandaVision, which to me is an absolute failure. We've had
big time.
Falcon and Winter Soldier, which I didn't watch, but to me it just seemed like a big
woke garbage
political statement, correct? And Loki was again woke garbage, but
Loki. I thought you mean Sylvie.
Sylvie, sorry. And I tell you what, this What If series that they've come out with, wow. I actually we'll get into that very, very shortly. But that's like, I look at what they're doing with What If, and What If is supposed to be canon, right? And
I don't see how it could possibly be canon.
Because it's a multiverse. It's the nothing matters.
Guys.
The nothing matterverse.
But hold on. But canon in what? Because the comics are the original source. So what do you mean by canon? Do you mean like it's part of the MCU continuity proper? Or do you mean it's... What do you mean by it's canon? I don't know what you mean by that. And I'm asking like legitimately.
Okay.
I don't know what you mean.
So the multiverse is open now. So what they're telling is they're telling different stories from essentially now different multiverses and putting them into a what if story. So what if Captain America wasn't Steve? What if Captain America was Captain Carter, Agent Carter?
I know.
You know, what if Star-Lord was T'Challa? So that takes place. All these things are taking place in different universes or different multiverses, right? So I don't know whether or not it's all in the one multiverse, and these are all different things that happened in those times. We'll get into it a little bit soon. I don't really know. It's
Here's the thing, though. You can't have canon and a multiverse. The two cannot coexist.
Yeah, I agree.
They are mutually exclusive. You either have canon or
Here's
you have
what
multiverse.
It is.
You
Sorry,
cannot
Greg.
have both.
Here's what it is. Multiverse is okay. So canon, you've seen my fucking documentary. It's derived from religion, right? Here's what multiverse is. It's Unitarianism. Like this belief that, you know, all of the religions are the same and they all get you to heaven. That's basically what it is. And again, you have the MCU starting in 2008. You had Spider-Man movies, 2002. Really in Blade and X-Men, right? Really the first real superhero movies that could do the comics justice. That was a multiverse back then, right? Because the comics weren't following that shit. They might have adopted some of the stuff from the movies, but that was a little more manageable because you have a film franchise and comics. But then you open up this multiverse where it's like, oh man, you know, we can do anything and it's fun and we can do whatever. I'm with Greg. That's why I like Star Wars, because there is no multiverse, you know. You had canon from 1977 to new stuff being created to 2014, and all that stuff is still canon, and it all works together. But you know, it's like, oh, let's just tell whatever story we want. Luke Skywalker, you know, did this and that, and then let's do another one. And they did some Infinity stuff like that, but it was just like for fun only, and they very rarely did it right. But imagine if they opened it up, kind of like they're doing now with Disney. You know, let's just tell stories and who gives a fuck if they jive with each other. I don't like that. I can understand some people do because you get different interpretations of characters and stuff, but I don't like it. I'm with Greg.
Yeah, so...
What do the crickets have to say?
A multiverse is like Razorfist had a tweet, I think today. He said something like it's an escape hatch. So for when you write yourself into a corner.
Yeah, I love that guy.
Oh, we don't like where this is going. Oh, that just took place in another multiverse. You can do an alternative timeline kind of story and have it work, but it has to be pretty contained, and it can't be like just what if anything happens. It has to have a specific point in which it diverges from the normal timeline, and it has to continue and follow within its own rules, and you can't have a whole bunch of crisscrossing over.
Yeah.
So like in the Star Trek universe, you can have something like the Mirror Universe and have it be like believable, like okay, it's an alternate dimension.
But that's part of the regular
universe.
Too, right? I mean,
right, but like,
it's part of the story. It's not just like another story, if that makes sense.
Right, they just didn't like, hey, you know, what if Kirk was an Andorian? Oh, it's a different timeline.
But Star Trek was a multiverse too.
Well, they had
all those novels and
Yeah,
books
yeah.
and comics that didn't jive with each other, and
Mhm.
you know,
See, I
never
wouldn't
should have
even
allowed
consider
them
that,
to
like,
be written.
I don't even know if I would consider that a multiverse. I would just consider them just all not canon.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, see, Disney kind of wants to have it both ways because they want to keep,
But
bending it
here's
back
the
and
problem,
forth.
though. Here's the
And-
problem. I don't want to cut you off, but here's I'm gonna let you finish. But here's the thing: like the difference is, just like I said in my documentary, it's that some fans they did consider a lot of those books and in their own mind to be canon. So basically, Paramount set them up for failure because hey, let's allow all these books to be written and cash in on them because people are going to buy them with the name, right? But then later on, we're going to say, oh, in this role playing game that created this vast, rich history of the Klingons and stuff. No, that's not canon and ignore it. Now watch TNG where we're going to change them. Just because they didn't use the word multiverse, I still think it's the same thing, in my opinion.
Okay, I guess semantics definition change. Like, I would consider both bad though. Like,
What they did to Star Trek fans is what they did to Star Wars fans in 2014. In 1989, they said all that stuff is not canon. We're doing something different, and people were pissed. I showed you those letters they wrote to Starlog, like, "Fuck this," you know. And then that guy from Paramount wrote a letter in saying, "Fuck these fans." Basically, we'll do whatever we want.
Yeah.
So, I think we have a super chat.
We got a couple here. Yeah, we're gonna get to.
Well,
Tim,
one of
do you
my
wanna get
contacts is messed up, but I can still read. Daniel James, who's showing up for a night stream because it's Rhino, says Misaka's one two little bitty accidentes, huh? You'd say boom de gasser, then crashen der bosses Blitter, then banished. Victoria isn't very nice. Pineapple Gang. He was trying to do some Jar Jar Binks.
I think
Yeah,
so.
definitely.
I'll have to practice that, before I try to do that again. So we'll have to screenshot this and
I think Daniel sent that with the intention of having
He
Rhino
did.
butcher it.
He did.
Yeah, he did. That's why I didn't read it. Misaka's one, two little bitty accidentes, huh? You just say boom da gassa. The crush de bossa.
Okay.
What does that even mean? Anyway,
You'd say
Hey Blitter is the name of the ship.
I thought I'd give it a shot
They're
because he
banished.
spent $30. Yeah,
Yeah, that's an actual that's a line from
and it learned
Phantom.
from it. Yeah. Thank you, Daniel. And we'll give you this one.
They came bounding over.
Fuck off, Disney! You fucking cunt! Thank you.
Oh, I love that.
And we also had Timon sent a $2 super chat. One more day equals The Last Jedi is character assassination. Sorry.
Oh yeah,
well, there you go. See, this is the thing. Like, again, my biggest love when it comes to Marvel is X-Men. Spider-Man,
Me too.
I do like Spider-Man, but I never read like the Spider-Man comic books or anything really like that. Yeah, I don't know.
I just Spider-Man's okay to me. Like I said, I'm not a comic book person, but like the movies so far, I mean, they've been okay. I much prefer the more grounded, not the whole world's at stake kind of Spider-Man story, because I don't know if I like him, and like I think he's one that needs to just stay by himself and
I agree.
not be part of a cinematic universe, because I think like once you bring in the cinematic universe, like you keep doing these movies, and again it's like, okay, he went to Doctor Strange to make a wish, and okay, but then where are the rest of them to help him out with this whole madness? Like, so this multiverse opens up, and only Spider-Man villains come through it, like nobody else. Like, there's not like another Thor doesn't come through, or like.
But see,
whatever.
the spell revolves around Spider-Man, so
it revolves around the entire Earth. forgetting that he's Spider-Man. So
Yeah.
it's already becoming a convoluted, jumbled mess of shit.
Mm.
And I think, like, the novelty is going to wear off really quick when it comes to this multiverse stuff, because I think people traditionally kind of like their stories to make a difference and make, like, when I go see a movie and I spend 2 hours watching a movie, I kind of want the movie to count. I don't want the next movie to come along and go, well, that was just another, that was Earth 182. That wasn't the real Earth. So, like, what you saw there just doesn't even matter. And it's like, well, then can I have a refund?
No.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Of course not. It's like saying fucking, can I have a refund for the Aftermath trilogy novels? Because they don't make any sense within the story anymore.
Right. It's basically like the group of people that have been saying for years now, and basically since TLJ, their arguments became more prominent with TLJ, is that canon doesn't matter, and it's not important. They're winning. And the proof is multiverse. Because in the world of multiverses, there's no canon and nothing matters.
Nothing matters, yeah.
Everything can just be undone by saying that took place in a different universe.
Yeah, if you're against...
You're wasting your time if you watch this garbage.
If you're against gay Superman, if you're against black Superman, and you're for the multiverse, then your stance doesn't make sense. Because you can just say, oh, black Superman, it's a different universe, you know?
Yeah, it's just a different universe. Why get upset?
And not Kal-Zod. Kal-El is black in another universe.
Hercules.
It's okay
right.
because
I mean,
it's
if they can accidentally pick up T'Challa instead of Star-Lord, then, like, yeah, really, literally anything can happen.
You should follow me now, Ogie Day. That's what the line that I always remember from Jar Jar. All right. I want to, while we're sort of going into the Marvel stuff still, I just wanted to show you, what does he say? Hold on.
It's a super chat.
Bring it up.
Hey-o.
Go on. Well, I bring
No Way
this
Home
up.
looks like 1 more day to me. 4 more years of Kathy, just add CGI Luke Skywalker, all is forgiven. Again. Right? Doc Ock, all is forgiven. Oh, it was so cool.
Yeah.
But it even goes further back than that. Like Rogue One, the Vader scene. Like it's all so cheap.
Oh, and the X-Wing fight where they're using literally the same dialogue from A New Hope and the same characters. Yeah, it was just... I was ready to walk out of the theater at that point.
It's just so cheap and so unimaginative and lazy, but it's also works. So,
yeah,
you know, you're gonna get more of it. I mean, they're looking at this and going, "Shit, this is gonna be probably the first Phase 4 movie that's gonna be a financial success." Like if you really, and I still think that's a maybe. Because this thing is slated to come out in Christmas, right? Around Christmas?
Yeah,
All
December.
right. If you're familiar, in the United States, when there was a big hockey stick uptick in a particular communicable disease, it was in the winter. Like, and if you don't think it's going to happen again and you don't think states are going to shut down, you're fooling yourself.
I got a question.
Thank you, Lethal, by the way.
Yeah, thanks, Lethal. I got a question.
And you're right, we will be getting into the Kathleen Kennedy stuff very soon. Sorry, go, Tim.
Since we're on the topic of Christmas, south of the equator, is Christmas art depicted with snow like it is here? Or do you guys have, like, Christmas on, like, all your art and decorations show beaches and stuff like that because it's summertime?
There is the, no, it's still seen as like snowy, the white Christmas sort of thing. But then there is the Aussie Christmas, meme, you could say, where, like, you know, thongs, singlet, sitting on the beach, you know, all of that kind of thing. So there is that stigma as well. But Daniel
has a good point.
traditional.
Well, I think to be traditional now, they need to have like a little kids cartoon that airs commercials during the holiday season where
Oh yeah, Timon stuff
a
would be
bunch,
Twitter too.
a bunch of authoritarian cops come and drag Santa out of his workshop and beat the shit out of him and haul him off to a quarantine center.
Santa on a surfboard, yeah. Yeah, there is that, but
Like, show
it
kids
is
that.
yeah. Now, for some reason, it's not showing this up through the stream, so I'm going to sort of explain some of it to you. So, the second episode of What If, I think a few people, this was a week and a half ago. So this has been talked about a little bit. T'Challa's basically Star-Lord. Everybody knows who T'Challa is. Everyone knows who Star-Lord is. He is really good at everything. The worst part of this entire episode is the fact that there's a lot to criticize out of it, like a lot, and it's very woke in regards to the Black Lives Matter sort of identity politics side of things in this episode. But the thing that I actually hated the most about it was how they ended the episode.
With the in memorial of Chadwick.
Yep.
Yeah.
They do that specifically so that you can't criticize it, right? If you criticize it, you're then having a go at Chadwick Boseman, and that's the narrative that I feel that they'll pull if
I don't know. I think they could legitimately want to honor his memory too. Like I don't know if I'd be that cynical about it, but
anyway, I don't know. If you're going to do something like that, give him something in the next movie, like a little.
Oh, I think they will too.
I think they will too, and do it at the end of that. But like, I don't know, doing it at the end of
if
this.
they go back to Wakanda or whatever, there'll be a gigantic statue of him, and Siri will make a mention of it or something. I'm sure I'm sure that they're going to do something because they know that it's good optics. It'll play well.
Yeah.
Like whether or not it's like truly genuine or anything, and not just a something that's just going to play well. Well, I mean, it's not like the people making these movies have been upstanding, scrupulous people. So like I can believe that they'd be cynical enough to not be genuine with it as well. It's just. The What If episode, the premise of the premise of it is just insanely stupid, but
it is. But okay, so just moving forward, Nebula hasn't been half destroyed. She's completely fine because Thanos is no longer evil. So who fills that vacuum, that the void of the evil side, is the Collector. He has become quite powerful. There's a cameo of Cap's shield that he's got in his collection. It's honestly, hang on, let me, because Howard the Duck gets a bit of a cameo and has a chat with T'Challa. Yeah. T'Challa finds out that his dad that he's been searching for his son the whole time, and he's been keeping that from him. And the reason why he's been keeping it from him is because he's an adventurer, not a king on a stupid planet, apparently. And then he eventually goes back, and that's where that episode ends. It honestly, the whole time throughout that episode, I was sitting there and I was like, this is actual garbage. Like the story's no good. You've now told two stories, right? You've replaced Cap with Carter, and you've replaced Star-Lord with Black Panther.
T'Challa.
And both of those characters do amazingly well and incredible, like just solution after solution. And there's no challenges, nothing.
Well,
Nothing.
here's the thing. Okay, like what if the comic title back in the day had a mixed bag, but occasionally they'd have a very interesting concept in the what if arena. And then there was another title called What the, that was like really off the wall, but they use those to like come up with interesting ideas just for fun, right? So how is it that they have more comic movies and TV shows than ever, and they're not able to take this what if concept and then do something that's actually creative and interesting to watch instead of just making woke if? Because that's pretty much what this is.
It is.
You know what I mean?
You wait for the third episode. You wait for this description of the third episode. Neither of you.
We haven't seen it yet.
No, that was the second episode that I just described.
I've heard about the first two. Yeah.
Neither of you have heard about or seen this show.
I don't think I have.
This is incredible.
No.
This is stunning and brave at its finest. But before we get into that, we got Riff Magos for $10. He says, there was once a time where storyline, character development, and continuity existed. These things can now only be found in my beloved books. Fuck off, Mouse, in Critical Drinker's voice. Fuck off, Mouse. I don't know. How do you say that in Scottish? He's Scottish, right?
Fuck off, Mouse. I don't know.
Fuck off, Mouse. I don't know. I can't do Scottish accent. But thank you, Riff, another one of my loyal members. Okay, let's get into this third episode. So the third episode starts off with Nick Fury and Natasha sitting in the car outside the donut store where Iron Man is sitting in the donut, eating the donuts. You know, that's Iron Man 2. Is it? Iron Man 2 when he's got the...
I can't remember, man.
The thing poisoning him. I'm pretty sure it is. Anyway.
Yeah, it would have to be if they're there because Natasha wasn't around in Iron Man 1.
Correct. Now, when Natasha goes to give him the shot to clear up the rash thing that he's growing on his skin, he dies not long after that. So Iron Man's dead. It then cuts to Thor, I think, Tuesday. Yeah, the Thor hammer comes down like in Thor 1. And Thor's walking over to the hammer and goes to grab the hammer and pick it up. And Hawkeye releases an arrow and goes straight through Thor's heart. So Hawkeye kills Thor.
I think I know where we're going with this.
Hawkeye kills Thor. Hawkeye. Think about that.
Okay, sure. Why not?
Let me just skip forward so I just get a quick
It's what if
reminder.
though, right? So it was Hawkeye from MASH.
And
from
Hawkeye,
MASH that did it.
No, Hawkeye's sitting in his thing
Hawkeye
and he's Hawkeye's sitting there in his cell because he's been arrested. Oh, by the way, Natasha gets arrested for killing Iron Man. Hawkeye gets arrested for killing Thor, but while Hawkeye's arrested, he dies in his cell, right, with nobody else around. Barton dies. Then it cuts to the Hulk, and this is the Hulk with Edward Norton. You know, when he's inside that bridge thing at the school and all the tanks roll up and everything, right? I'm pretty sure it's the one with Edward Norton. And of course, that scene happens where he turns into the Hulk and his heart explodes. So he ends up really big, really big, really big. I'm pissed off that I can't show you. Really big, and he blows up. The Hulk dies.
Yeah.
Loki
going with this.
Loki shows up and says,
we're going to run out of white guys to kill here pretty soon.
Yeah, wait for it. Loki shows up and says, "You killed one of your guys. Killed my brother. We're going to rain down war on you." Let me just.
War.
And then he opens up. He starts attacking with the what's it called? The
Tesseract.
Tesseract. Thank you. And he starts using that and frosting using that frost giant technology or whatever. And then they sort of come to a bit of a truce where Nick Fury says to Loki, "I will find the person that killed Thor, and I'll bring him to you." He gives him a little bit of time to find him. Natasha figures it out and calls Nick and saying, "It's all about hope. It's all about hope," right? And Nick's like, "They're not the only Avengers." He pulls out the little thing for Captain Marvel, but doesn't push the button yet. He then drives to, that's right, he goes to see Loki. And it turns out that the person who killed all the Avengers before they could assemble for the first Avengers movie, the person who killed them all is Hank Pym. You know, Ant-Man, old man Ant-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Because Hope, his daughter, worked for S.H.I.E.L.D., she died working for S.H.I.E.L.D., and he's got a grudge, right? So he goes and kills all the Avengers before they can form. And yeah, go on.
But the arrow killed Thor, I thought.
Yeah, so what happened was Hank was small and he went in between his fingers and separated his fingers so that it released the arrow. Do you know what I'm saying?
But how does an arrow kill Thor?
Oh, because obviously Thor didn't have his powers when he got sent back to Earth by his father, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, so this thing's jumping all around the timeline. Okay.
Oh, yeah, all around the timeline. Okay. So the way that Hank gets defeated is Nick is actually Loki, or Loki pretends to be Nick, and there's multiple ones of him, ends up beating the shit out of him and winning the day. But that's not all. Then Loki has taken control of Earth, right? Because he never got stopped at the attack of New York, but there was never an attack on New York because he made a pact with Nick Fury, and now he's become the ruler of Earth. And you can see all this sadness on all these people. Oh man, I wish I could show this. There's a lady here with a burqa on. I'm not joking. They look like a Middle Eastern family sitting there watching this news about America being taken over by Loki, or the world being taken over by Loki. And then it cuts to, that's right, Nick walking into some ice room, wiping Cap's shield and going, "Welcome back, Captain Carter," not Captain America. But just after he says that, the camera pans from him looking down at the shield and wiping his hands across it, and the camera pans up and around, and none other than Captain Marvel is standing there, and she goes, "So, where's the fight?" And the episode ends. So they've killed all the Avengers. All of the Avengers. And Natasha Romanoff, because she doesn't get killed. Captain America, or Captain Carter, I should say, and Captain Marvel. So they're the current heroes that we have. Going very well.
Well, all the white male Avengers got killed.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, and we've got Black Star-Lord. Oh, and at the end of that episode, Peter Quill's working in some McDonald's or something like this, mopping the floor, and Eco shows up, his dad, and yeah, it looks like they might try and make Peter Quill a big bad, a villain or something.
See, now, like, if I'm doing a what if thing, I'm doing something a little bit more interesting. Like, I'm taking one event and, like, what if this one event went slightly different, and then branching it off from there. Not just like, what if the gravity didn't work, or like, you know, like these really insane, idiotic swaps that don't make any sense. It's just literally like, what if the timeline went slightly askew here? The timing was a little off.
All right.
You want to kill Iron Man off. Like, okay, he doesn't come back through the portal and the Battle from New York.
Sorry, Widow does get killed. I must have missed that. My bad.
Oh my god.
They actually killed off a white.
Is she going to sue for it? That's no.
See, she doesn't matter because she's got no female bits. So
yeah.
Does that mean they killed a trans person?
Oh yeah.
I don't think she's.
It's
trans.
Maybe not trans, but like some other.
I don't know how. I don't know.
One of their statuses.
I'm sure there's a new pronoun for that. You know.
Sometime in the near future, I'm gonna have a comic stream, maybe a series of them, and one of the things I want to do is
infertile.
There you go. I want to go over, like, I'll find a list online, all the what if issues, and see what stories they came up with in the 80s. You know, because there was some really creative stuff, and I think that would be fun to go over. And then and Timon's invited because he knows a lot about comics, but that would be fun. I think just like what you're talking about. There's no gravity. They did all kinds of crazy shit like that. So, but this right here is woke if. That's all it is.
Oh, they've definitely gone towards the MCU, like everybody's been reporting.
And malicious garbage is what it is.
But like it's so like, again, these heroes, they do a way better job than the original hero.
Right.
Like, and they're so much better at it.
Well, like, yeah, didn't they have Black Panther like literally talk Thanos out of the snap?
Yeah.
He changed his mind.
Yeah. And he's still,
like,
and they're still playing it off that Thanos still thinks there's validity to his plan, right?
He just decided not to.
But did they not use the opportunity?
And it's not genocide because it's random.
Did they not use the opportunity to say, "Hey, Thanos, why don't you just create more resources with the Infinity Gauntlet?" You know?
Yeah.
I didn't
Did
actually.
they not do that? I mean,
or if population control is that serious of an issue, then why don't you snap your fingers and make like half the population of the galaxy infertile?
Yeah.
Like there's like a million ways. Like you don't
decrease the birth rate. Yeah.
Yeah, decrease the birth rate. Like make it, you know, the odds of conceiving just astronomically much higher. Like,
that way you're not
like
mass murdering people.
Yeah, there's like a million better, more ethical ways to do it. Like it's still
but
unethical,
it's not
but
evil.
like it's not as dramatic as having people dust away. Like,
yeah.
She's a redhead, that's why they killed her. Seth Rogen as Galactus. Fuck.
It just sounds like these things are it's not I don't know, that doesn't sound like an interesting story. Like, what if Hank Pym just killed them all? Okay, like, well, how did Hank Pym know like that Thor was going to come to Earth and not have his powers? Like, was there like a newspaper article about Thor's story, or did they make like a mini series that everybody knew the events of Thor 1?
But that also means that it wasn't just this moment that there's something changed. There was also, because Hope didn't work for the Avengers until pretty much not even Ant-Man 2 she wasn't working for S.H.I.E.L.D. So like they've actually said that Hope was working for S.H.I.E.L.D. when we hadn't ever seen her work for S.H.I.E.L.D. She was there at the final fight, but she was never, because she got snapped away. It's weird.
They're clearly not thinking these things out, and this is kind of like a good example of the media that we're going to get in the future. With multiverses, you know, circling back to that and things like that, where it's just somebody took paint and splattered it on a wall, and they're trying to tell you it's a masterpiece. It's just low effort.
How do you feel about the narrative?
No meritocracy.
How do you feel about the narrative Oh, but it's just for kids. What are you fucking complaining for?
Their market is not just kids, though. It's clearly
I agree with that, but I look at that argument, if that was to ever come up, I look at that argument and just go, so what are you saying about the kids? Like, are they just not smart? You can't give them intelligent content. You got to give them garbage to watch.
Yeah, you got to give them this ADD spastic like garbage on the screen. Well, and then the whole idea is like, well, it's animated, so it's designed for kids. And we're like, oh, okay, then why don't you go show your kids Yurota Sekidoji? Know that.
I agree. One man show. I completely agree. Thor being killed by an arrow is fucking stupid.
That's true. Like I didn't even like want to go down that rabbit hole, but yeah.
Yeah, it's not like Superman.
As Guardians,
of Solitude,
without the power of Thor, are still pretty powerful beings.
Mm-hmm.
$5 from Timon again. Thank you, Timon. You've been throwing a lot of super chats. Thank you. I don't think that will be the MCU with every female hero suing. With every female hero suing Disney. Elizabeth Olsen is backing ScarJo. Yeah, I did see that actually.
Fucking both.
With some lip service, not
100%.
Well, here's what it is. Okay.
Thank you.
But I meant literally too.
The actors and actresses are worried right now because they see that the box office revenue has like cratered. And it's not likely to come back anytime soon. So their leverage with the studios, the leverage game has completely flipped. The studios now have a lot more power than the actors and actresses do because moviegoers now aren't drawn to movies typically because of who's in them. So the star power thing has gone. And if the box office continues to be this shaky and shaky at best, because like I don't know how long the movie theaters are going to be able to limp along at with the box office receipts that they're getting.
Well, we'll see with the Shang-Chi experiment.
But it's not just about the Shang-Chi experiment. It's like typically in a regular year prior to Koof, you would get basically almost every single weekend would be a new AAA title every weekend driving the box office. And now it's a couple titles here and there every few weeks at best. And those aren't even performing very well. And so you have these actors and actresses are like, look, we're going to need to renegotiate our contracts and shit with Hollywood here for this stuff with streaming. And HBO honestly really kind of Warner Brothers really screwed everybody. Because they dramatically way overpaid to shut the actors up about it going direct to video on HBO Max, with Wonder Woman and Kong and what other titles. They paid them off like $10 million as just kind of like here we're going to take it to streaming. Here's an extra $10 million because.
Yeah.
And these movies are all losing money. They're all losing money. And so the studios now are going like, we're not going to pay these actors and actresses and directors like $10 million to take a movie that's going to lose money to streaming service. And the actors and actresses are going back and like, we want our money, damn it. Because the funny thing is like, for all their bluster in Hollywood for being, about equity, like, yeah, I try to find any semblance of equity at a movie studio or on a soundstage where they're shooting anything. Equity doesn't exist. And they're trying to protect their money. So like this whole Elizabeth Olsen backing ScarJo thing is like, it's just lip service. She don't care. And she's just like, oh yeah, I'm backing my friend. Like, does she actually have knowledge of the case? Did Scarlett Johansson show her the contract and be like, yeah, look, I only missed my bonus by $50 million, so like, in box office, this is how they're screwing me, which is, patently absurd. Her lawsuit on its face is absurd. Because there's just no way that she would have gotten that kind of bonus money. Because the movie was never going to be a big movie. It just wasn't.
I'm liking this conversation in the chat between Trey and One Man Show and Timon about killing Superman with Green Arrow killing Superman with an arrow, and then they're going into like kryptonite arrows and things. Anyway, the thing that I look at with all of this stuff is that none of these people that are actually making it actually care. It's like Miss Marvel, and I honestly think that in the What If series we're probably going to see Miss Marvel. It's just a prediction that I've got. But what is the purpose of like a character like that? Who comes up with a concept and says, okay, we need a Middle Eastern female superhero. What superpowers can we give her? Oh, her hands go really big. Oh, that's great. Great power. Like, and then I don't know what the backstory is or anything like that.
That's how she neutralizes the Hulk. Only gigantic hands can, take care of business.
Yeah.
Jazz hands.
Jerk him off.
It's going to give Hulk a handy to calm him down.
Jerk him off, and then after he turns back into Bruce Banner.
That probably a pretty effective way. He gets a little post-nut, and then he goes back to Bruce.
What if Captain Marvel was a cunt? Well, we already saw that one. It's where she gets the bottom smile.
The bottom line with all this stuff is basically that they don't even want to be bothered with continuity. They don't want to be bothered with canon. They don't even want to be bothered with having to come up with something that makes sense. They just want to make movies.
Yep.
And they don't care. They don't care about the subject. They want to make a Marvel movie.
Yeah, and that's why these companies, I think this started up about 6 months ago. That's why you started seeing them, not really them directly, but they have their little plants and all these shitty ass websites. All these stories coming out that, I'm trying to think of the right phrase. It was like minding the lore or paying attention to the lore is like white supremacy and all that. Remember all that shit? I think it was the One Ring, I think is the one. And then you started seeing the Star Wars community like, hey, you don't like the High Republic. You think that only the EU is canon. Well, it's because you're basically an alt-right member. When you look at the expanded universe as an example of Star Wars, extremely fucking diverse. And Star Trek, already diverse. Black Captain, right? In 1993. You look at Lord of the Rings, and never mind. You look at
the thing that I look at just quickly is that these things aren't for everyone, right?
Right.
Comic books have been around for a long fucking time. Star Wars has been around for a long fucking time. Star Trek has been around for a long fucking time.
Yeah, 55 years.
We've talked about this before. If people were going to be a fan of these properties, they're already a fucking fan. I don't understand why you need to
vilify.
But why are you trying to get new? These people, they don't feel like they're a part of it, so we've got to show them in the movie or the show so that they can see themselves on screen so that they can enjoy it too. Well, if they never enjoyed it, it means they don't care about the mythology. They never cared about these things. So why are you pushing for these fans?
They're playing the long game, and I've said this before. I think they're risking the short-term failure so that once we die off, right, and we're in our 60s and 70s and don't give a shit about this stuff anymore, they have this new generation, and then that generation raised that is accepting of this stuff. Standards are lowered, right? And all the stuff from that came before that was good, it's being canceled, it's being erased. episodes of TV shows, comic books. You can't get them anymore. So they're playing the long game that they'll get rid of us and what we like and what's really good. That's what they're doing.
Dude. But they've been playing the long game in Star Trek for 50 years.
What do you mean?
No, what I mean by playing the long game is fucking you've got Star Trek fans that are 20 years old, right? Like legitimate Star Trek fans that are 20 years old. They weren't around when it originally came out, right? But their parents or their dad.
I wasn't even around when it aired.
Me neither.
What I'm getting
Not
at
that
is
old.
that there's my point.
Okay.
There's my point exactly. I'm not a massive Star Trek fan, but I appreciate it. I like the premise of it. I like the laws, the continuity, everything behind it because of my old man, because of my dad. He passed that down to me, right? That's where I'm saying the long game should be being played is generational.
Oh, it should be. It should be.
It's not a matter
They're playing it.
of
Should be. Yes.
They're playing. It's not a long-term game. It's a long-term gamble. But
Yes.
the problem is they're gambling. They're trying to gamble a long game with short-sightedness.
Yeah.
Because the stuff that they think is making their stuff now so unique, all these, quote unquote first this and first that and all these other things, right? Like, oh my god, it's got a trans character. Oh my god, there's a non-binary. Oh my god, it's a lesbian. Like, in 10 years, nobody's going to think anything of that.
Right.
Yeah.
So all these things that they're going like, wow, this is great. This is a first. It's going to be old hat to them there. So it's not going to have any appeal to that next generation because they're going to be like, yeah.
It's going to date itself, is what
yeah,
it's
it's not a big deal.
Massively.
It's not a big
dated
deal.
itself.
And see, that's where Star Trek, with the original series, they had the diversity, and it was just built in, and it wasn't part of the story, though. It was just there. It
was incidental.
I mean, it was just organic into the ship. There was a female black communications officer because that's just what she happened to be, and they didn't make it a big deal within the show itself.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like despite all the shortcomings as far as like the special effects and everything go, that aspect of it doesn't get dated because that's normal. Like, it's not a big deal that there's an Asian and a black man and a Russian, or a black woman and a Russian on the bridge of the Enterprise because, like, of course it's not a big deal. The problem with shows now is they write it into the story that it's a big deal.
Yeah.
I had that clip with Discovery with the pronoun game where.
Oh man!
Where they say it like 8, God, what was it, 10, 12 times?
Yeah.
Where they used the they them pronoun.
They are sleeping. Be quiet.
Yeah. It was just, it's cringe. And if you assume that there's no backlash coming for that particular issue, and it just progresses, 10 years from now, nobody's going to look at that and go like, "Wow, that's so revolutionary." They're going to be like, "That's just normal to me now." Like, people say they them. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And that's why I say that they're playing a long game with short-sightedness because the only thing that's selling these titles right now is the novelty of this being a first and that being a first and casting this person and casting. All that novelty is going to be meaningless in 10 years because the culture evolves. So it's not going to matter. These shows aren't going to have any longevity versus the other shows in the past that did because it was just organically part of the thing and it wasn't made a big deal of.
Yep.
Nobody cared that Uhura was black or that Sulu was Asian or that Chekhov was Russian.
Yep, and that's what Allura makes the point here. That's what they've done with Star Wars. They've actually dated it. They've made it not timeless anymore, basically. And I also want to touch on this because my nieces and nephews are the same. I think my sister mentioned it in one of the videos that I did with her, where her kids are now just watching anime because it's actually telling at least a decent story and they're getting some enjoyment out of it. Kids aren't stupid. Kids aren't dumb. They're mean, but they aren't dumb.
No, well, they are dumb, but they're not that dumb.
No.
Their taste,
That's what I mean.
they like dumb shit like Teletubbies every now and then, but then they also like things like The Lion King, or like just because it's animated and everything, like doesn't mean it can't be void of a story. And like kids like a good story. And you know what kids don't like? Anti-heroes.
Yeah.
They're not really big on the anti-hero
Guys.
stories. They like their.
What is that?
Star Blazers. I watched this on TV when I was fucking 7 years old. An ongoing storyline with, and this is like the American version that cut out a lot of shit that was in the Japanese, and like amazing storytelling and like the characterization and all that shit. And I could appreciate that at 7 years old, right? So that's kind of why your nephew or whoever it was, sorry, I don't remember. That's why they like this anime stuff, right? Because they're actually developing characters and telling a story that has an ending to it. I feel like Western stuff now, current stuff, never ends. It's like we got to, like MCU. Let's keep on going. Let's keep on going.
Exactly. Everything now is a big mystery box, but you got to keep the mystery box going at the same time as actually never answering any of the questions from the mystery box.
While also never having an actual, true, genuine hero.
Yeah. It's like now we're in a deconstructive phase.
Yeah, there's no princess and princesses anymore. It's always there's like overly flawed, narcissistic, like or it's just gray. The line between good and bad is just this muddled gray anyway, and it's just maybe like, oh, this guy, it was just where they were raised, This person was raised on the streets, and then this person was raised in the castle, and that's why they're so different. And like all this other thing, kids generally don't identify with that so much. They kind of like their heroes, but that's not just kids either. Like the public themselves likes a genuine hero. But when you have these characters in these things do horrifically unheroic things, it just really it wears on people. And like for example, like I was watching I was one of the EFAP episodes. They were going through the Scarlet the Black Widow movie, right? And there's a scene in which they like cause an avalanche that just like completely engulfs this prison, presumably like entombing everybody underneath like 20, 30 feet of snow. Like just avalanche just wipes out the whole prison. And because they had to break out their not dad character out of that prison. But like everybody else in that prison, the guards and everything are just dudes doing their jobs or people serving their time. They didn't deserve to die, but yet they did. Or like the Mandalorian, it's like make a big deal about all of those men that lost their lives at the battle, and then like I'm gonna shoot the fuel tank and blow up the whole base.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that where it's just like that's not the heroic thing. People spazzed about like Man of Steel, the carnage in that movie, like, but Superman didn't like deliberately and casually like kill people. Like our hero characters doing this other shit. Literally, it's just like, like I'm gonna blow up the whole base.
Yeah, that whole scene though, give me the rifle. He called it something, and then just takes aim and just
that whole episode. The pirates.
It was so bad.
The way that they're transporting this fuel or whatever it is. That whole episode.
Do you know what it reminds me of? Like the vehicle and the whole concept. Remember Moon Patrol, that arcade game? Where you have to like make it, over all these bumps.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a video game. Like, okay, level 1, you got to get through. Oh no, that one blew up. Okay, level 2, your second light.
That rings a bell.
It's a video game. That whole TV show was, and it was shit storytelling. And just because they show Mandalorian armor and they show Boba Fett and they show blasters and thermal detonators, people think it's Star Wars, right? Because they make it look and sound like it.
But even all that aside, like that character was suddenly like you're supposed to believe in like 1 minute, that he's this compassionate dude that's like, scarred by the horrors of war and the loss of the men around him. Yeah. And then like 5 minutes later, he's just casually blowing them all the fucking hell.
Yeah.
You know, like, and you could go to the sequel trilogy too, like Finn, like, you know, 5 seconds after getting, like, having the brainwash, like, wear off on him or whatever, he gets his mind, and then he's just, like, fucking blasting away and blowing the hell out of all of his former, like, teammates that that are in the hangar bay, and he's, like, whooping it up while he's killing him. It's like, wow, you turned into kind of a killer really easy.
Yeah.
I just find it funny how
I guess you're the good guy.
Mm-hmm.
I find it funny how Finn had so many opportunities just to leave, and he just wanted to leave, and he just didn't leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
But it's this deconstruction of the hero character, and they don't want to write hero characters, and they just don't want to write anything that means anything, because that's too much work.
I agree.
Can cash in on so much other stuff without having to do this, and it's working. I mean, like, it really is working. They're winning.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
That's
speaking
the
of
future of entertainment, people.
Speaking of Star Wars, there's been a few things that have come up in the last couple of days, or in the last day or so. Tim, do you have this one up?
I have this one up, but could you let me share mine?
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be better. Let's see.
So, for a while now, I've got to say, of course, this is all rumor and speculation.
Mm-hmm.
Not specifically this. This is something that I believe came from the documentary that Disney Plus did for The Mandalorian. John talks about Kathleen Kennedy and her involvement. And for a long time, there's been a few people out in the world saying that Kathleen Kennedy's got no power. She's only a figurehead at the top of at Lucasfilm. It's all John and Dave. They've got ultimate control.
She's
power.
doing High Republic. They're doing Mandalorian.
She's doing High Republic.
They've won the war.
There's a civil war. John and Dave won the Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
Man, and the narrative constantly changes. I'm telling you, constantly changes. As soon as something falls off, like, Cara Dune coming back, because they could get caught out on saying certain things because there's somebody else in the community that is very close to Gina Carano. The narrative changed, surprisingly.
Yeah.
So anyway, I wanted to just talk a little bit about this. Go for it, Tim. And then we'll talk.
Yeah, and then we have another article that, if we have time, I want to do that one too. Jon Favreau touts Kathleen Kennedy, praises her work on The Mandalorian by John F. Trent from Bounding Into Comics. The Mandalorian creator and executive producer Jon Favreau recently touted Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy in her work on The Mandalorian Season 2. Favreau's praise came during the recent release of the second episode of Disney Gallery, The Mandalorian, titled Making of Season 2 Finale. Favreau opened the episode stating, "I think there's an interplay with storytellers and the people you're telling the story to. You find that the emotions run very deep with Star Wars and people's relationship, especially people who grew up with it from a young age, feel a lot of connection to it. I don't. What about you guys?"
Not anymore.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Not this new stuff. Not me. And then here's a nice picture of Iger, Favreau, and Kennedy with their shit-eating smiles. He continued, "I think the one consistent thing I'm feeling is that people care deeply, that it's being handled correctly, and that it's being handled respectfully. It meant so much to them, and they want to see it continue into the future and feel like it's all connected with consistency." I mean, come on.
Oh, you might want to talk to your partner there, pal.
They might want to all talk to each other. None of it's consistent. The books, to the comics, to the shows, to the movies, to the old stuff. that they still consider part of their continuity to the, original trilogy, to the prequels. None of it's consistent together.
Consistency. You know what this
No, within the
sounds
same show, within the same episode, stuff isn't consistent.
Exactly.
You know what this sounds like
Golly.
to me? If these are the words that came out of Jon Favreau's mouth, you listen to Dave Filoni and the same thing. Actually, I'm going to bring it up. You listen to Dave Filoni and the same fucking thing, and it's the same narrative. It's all about the feels, and it's designed to give you a good feeling and all of this kind of shit. Continue while I find this.
Sure.
If you can.
Favreau went on to praise Kennedy, and we're very lucky that between Lucasfilm and Kathy, the whole group that we have are incredibly supportive and encouraging. Now, if this has come up before, this isn't the first time we've seen him heaping praise on her. And when this happens, the fucknuts out there like to say that, well, he's keeping up public appearances so that when the Civil War really gets intense and when she's really out, he will have the upper hand. So he doesn't really mean these things. He's just being, he's being politically savvy.
If she's on the way out, why does he have any motivation to fluff her up?
Exactly.
He can kick her on the way out the door.
Yes.
Oh, there's no door.
Let me
There
just
is no door.
let me just show this quickly. It's 50-second clip. It is listening to Dave Filoni talk, but this is what it means.
Okay.
So many ways, and I think people think that
I'm really ramping up my voice this time, guys.
this job is great in so many ways, and I think people think the job is great because we get to tell the story, because we do these effects, because we get these experiences, because we go to Celebration, right? But also great is just standing on the side and watching somebody. Again, like I said, I saw that child inside John that he experienced Star Wars. I sit there with Peyton. You see your crew just staring at Mark, and you realize they're remembering what it meant to them. And you realize that you've
remembering what it meant to them and not fucking
been a part of constructing something that's giving that experience to people, this good feeling, which fundamentally Star Wars should deliver a good feeling, an uplifting feeling for you and your family, your kids, whatever.
So it's all about the feeling, the uplifting feeling that it gives you. That's what Star Wars is all about. It's about the feeling. Remember, Finn? Why do you know what's on that ship? A feeling. It's all about a fucking feeling. So dumb.
It feels like Star Wars. Let's see here. Later in the episode, Favreau would offer more praise for Kennedy, as well as provide details on her role for the season 2 finale of The Mandalorian that we saw, the return of Luke Skywalker. While specifically talking about bringing back Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker, Favreau said, Kathy Kennedy, Kathy, not Kathleen, we brought in very early on in this conversation. And Kathy, first and foremost, is a great producer. And producers figure out ways to make things happen that are creatively exciting to the storytellers. So there you go.
Creatively exciting to the storytellers.
It wasn't John and Dave.
Hold on a second. I thought that she had no creative power over the Mandalorian whatsoever.
Well, no, that's the fun little trap that they play, right? If I like it, she didn't have anything to do with it. If I didn't like it, it was all her fault.
What this means is, guys.
Oh, but if I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I told you to take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
What this means is, what do producers do? Like in 3 words, they spend money, right? That's their job. So what this really means is she probably brought Mark in, found the money to bring Mark in because you had to pay him. He didn't do it for free, right?
Well, yeah, you had to negotiate his contract.
Yeah,
bring him in, like pay for the CGI to do his face, like all these other things. This idea that like it was a surprise to the person who runs the company that they were going to bring
Yeah.
back. Like, sorry.
And John and Dave's gift to the fans to make up for the Disney trilogy. Yeah, right.
Right.
Lethal for $2 says Kathy trying to force choke this dick with her throat.
I
Thank
think
you.
I'd pass on that, even if it were offered up. I might pass on it.
Yeah, I'd take a piss down the throat.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Golden shower hour. All
Take a
right.
dump
He
down her throat. Go on.
Wow, I thought I took it far, and then you're like, hold my fucking beer.
Shit all over the Star Wars fans and community.
Hey, Rhino,
Shit all over you.
Why don't you just scat, okay? He continued, not only does she understand how to create an environment where we can have all the tools that we need to explore and experiment and be creative. That sounds like not very good wording. But also knows what it takes to incubate ideas and understands the significance of when you do it right, what that can represent. That's just a bunch of nothing. What he just said here is just like business talk. Oh my gosh.
It's fluffy creative talk.
Yeah.
Where they do this thing that's pretty kind of basic but then they fluff it up to be like it has all these other meanings. The whole thing here, kind of going back a little bit to the emotional, and it's about the feeling and everything. The problem with modern Star Wars is all the feelings are connected to what happened before they touched Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's feeling anything about what they're doing. The feelings are all attached to a nostalgia of better things that have come to pass.
Yeah.
It's all...
Well, it's so funny that you say that. I don't know if you saw the ad.
It's all retro feelings. It's nothing genuine and real in this moment. Nobody gives a shit about Din Djarin.
Did you see the trailer for the Lego Star Wars game?
No.
You haven't seen it?
No.
I should show you this. It starts, and all it is original trilogy, prequel trilogy stuff. And then later in the trailer, it starts seeping in like Rey and everything else. It's the first thing I noticed when I saw it. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, let me.
Just look at everything that they're doing that has elicited an emotional response. It's all in connection to what people remember about Star Wars, not what Star Wars is.
Yes,
in its current day. Yeah. It's a gimmick. It's a ruse. It's a scam. That can only last for so long because you can only do that so much. At least I'd like to think that Star Wars fans will eventually kind of catch on to this bullshit, but like I don't know. I'm beginning to lose faith.
You find it?
Yeah, I did. There's an ad here. Let me just mute that. Yeah, let me show you this. This is I'll probably get a copyright claim on this one. So it's called the Skywalker Saga.
When does it come out?
Official game. Don't know.
No, don't worry about it.
This trailer came out yesterday. Before I do, let me just hit this from Riff. Thank you for the $5, Riff Magos. The Golden Republic. Golden Republic, yeah.
The Golden Age.
All right, let's watch this.
Okay.
Promise me you will train the boy. Yes, Master.
I was once a Jedi Knight, the same as your father.
How did my father die?
Ready are you? What know you of ready?
Notice that it's all prequel.
So far, yeah.
You haven't seen anything yet. Get your feels up.
Rebellion
Oh, there you go. First
today.
scene.
The war is just beginning. And I will not be the last.
Or was this filmed at 2 frames per second?
Sorry.
Saying, is it just my connection, or does it feel like this thing was filmed at 2 frames per second?
It's doing that to me too.
I actually think. Have you noticed that on my videos recently at all?
No.
When I'm watching anything, no. Maybe it's just my computer. I think it's my computer. Sorry, I need to turn it down. It's so damn loud.
It's basically just like the trailer to fucking Rise of Skywalker. It's the music and everything.
Reach out.
That's not what he would have stuck in her hand.
What's that?
Said
What'd you
that's
say?
not what he would have stuck in his hand. He would have gone and put something else there.
Put his dick in your hand.
That this bitch. So you get to play a Star Wars game with shitty blocky graphics. Yay!
Oh, I don't know. The classic trilogy one was pretty fun. I'm getting an echo.
Me too.
Hey, I'm all plugged in. I'm okay. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I just thought it was funny when I first saw it. I'm like, man, they're trying to get the feels going before they really get this trailer.
Well, look
going.
at this one. Share that really quick. I update this, as the year goes on, but you've got 6-inch figures, expanded universe. You've got a reissue of Republic Commando. You've got Dirge coming back. You've got that vintage page on Disney Plus. You've got the reissue of EU novels in trade paperback format, right? Then you've got the Tartakovsky Clone Wars action figures, all this year in 2021, because their shit doesn't sell.
Mm.
Let me go back to the article.
Yep.
Favreau's comments echo what Disney CEO Bob Chapek had to say about Kennedy back in March. And again, I remember hearing the same thing. Oh, Chapek's just saying that. He's just saying that. First, he lavished praise on her during an appearance at a virtual conference hosted by Morgan Stanley. He described her,
We all heard it. I reckon everybody in the chat here heard what he had to say about KK.
He described her as a stellar creative talent, and then went on to describe her as a genius. Holy shit. Chapek said that's where Kevin Feige and Kathleen Kennedy are at their best, managing that mythology. So there are little pieces here and there that they dribble and they connect. It's really amazing. Geniuses. Wow. That's what you call being completely disconnected from the people.
But not only that, they're in complete denial that this is all connected.
Yeah.
Because no one over there actually has a plan.
Mm-mm.
And so what are they going to decanonize the last half of this game?
Yeah.
Let's say retcon the trilogy, right?
He would even describe her as an absolute treasure. Chapek asserted, well, just like Kevin and Kathy and Sean at the studio, Jimmy, Dana, Peter, and John, who the fuck, are absolute treasures for us from a creative standpoint, driving this machine, but giving you the type of content that you saw at the investor conference. Notice that there's no Dave in there. Not only did Chapek praise Kennedy during this virtual conference in March, but he also stood behind her during the Walt Disney Company's 2021 annual meeting of shareholders. In the Q&A portion of the meeting, he was asked by George from San Antonio, Texas, George, are you guys looking at firing Kathleen Kennedy or asking her to resign and promote somebody like Filoni or Favreau or both to the co-counsel? Chapek responded, we've been absolutely thrilled that we can have the kind of creative talent in our company, the likes of Kathy Kennedy running Lucas. And we look forward to having Kathy directing the activities of the entire Lucasfilm organization for many years to come. I remember all of us talking about that at the time.
Yeah.
Not only do Favreau's comments reinforce what Disney CEO Bob Chapek had to say about Kathleen Kennedy, but they lead one to believe that the recent rumor that Kennedy will see her contract renewed is true. That rumor came from scooper Mikey Sutton.
Well, we're going to get with
yes,
that's the other article.
I have
right?
the other article.
We'll
right
get
here.
into that, guys. Let's Oh, do you want to get into that now? Or
yeah.
Is there anything to finish on that?
Really.
I don't think there really is. Basically, look, how I see it is I don't see or understand how the president of a company can be not involved and not be allowed to make the calls and the shots in her own company. Whether or not you like her, you dislike her, you want the rumors to be true, whatever the case may be, right? Now, at the end of this coming September, is it that her contract is actually due?
Yep.
Rumored due. Like, we don't even know.
Yeah, we don't know.
Okay.
It's all based on speculation of when they announced her extension a couple years ago. So.
Yeah, correct. So she may, the contract does end. She may walk out. I don't see it happening, right? The thing that I hate the most is it's this whole rumor mill thing about, okay, so if she does leave, I'm right, whether or not I am right or not. And if she doesn't leave, well then, like I said, I told you, it was a rumor and there may not be any validity to it.
Yeah.
Right. So I really hate that narrative. I really hate that point. And if anyone out there is reporting these rumors, but they're making the rumors up, right? And then they're reporting them and giving people false hope through that. That to me
monetizing that. Yeah.
And that to me is just as bad as Disney bringing back Luke Skywalker.
Well, and here's the
that's
deal,
a good
too.
thing.
Like, you can say that, oh, hey, I'm reporting this as a rumor. I can't personally substantiate the claims, so take it with a grain of salt. And then you provide and imply that multiple sources are saying the same thing, or then undercut your take it with a grain argument, because you're implying that this is something that has been confirmed through multiple sources, which implies that there's truth behind it. And all you have to do is read what your audience is saying, and clearly you can understand that they are not believing it as rumor, they are believing it as truth. Mm-hmm. And when the 1 out of 97 times that you're partially correct, you're the first person to go hashtag yourself that you're right, like, that also leads me to believe that, like, you're using it as a crutch, but that's not really your shtick. Your shtick is that people are tuning in because they either want to believe it's true or they believe it's true.
Yeah, and you're batting the 1,000, right?
Well, the thing is that I saw a tweet a month ago. Somebody tweets out going, "Is it too early to do a victory lap?" No, it's not too early to do a victory lap. Kathleen Kennedy's gone, and there was this article rumoring, and it went back. You follow the fucking sources back, and it's like, I can't even remember who the fuck it was, but it's someone who's so discredited, right? Oh no, that's right. The source was one of the people that everyone watches for the rumors. That was the source for this article.
Self-referential
and the person has the audacity.
It's circular references.
The person has that's right. This person has the audacity to come out on Twitter and say, "Is it too early to do a victory lap?" No, I'm doing a victory lap based on a rumor that the source is a rumor from that fucking source. Like, oh my fucking
But here's
God.
the problem. Don't hate the player. Don't hate the player. Don't hate the player, hate the game, because there are fucking morons. There were retards out there that actually believe it and support it. So, as long as that audience is there to fuel, it's going to continue.
They believe it with they passionately
fervor. Yes.
If you want to have hope that Star Wars can be saved, you can have hope. I got no problem with you having hope. But when your hope comes from a place of, guess what? Kathleen Kennedy's going to leave. Fucking John and Dave are going to use the World Between Worlds to decanonize the sequel
Veil
trilogy.
of the Force. Get it right.
The Veil of the Force. All of this fucking bullshit. And then when the narrative changes, John and Dave wins the Civil War, right? Because there was no Civil War. So you've got to make up the victory lap. It's all...
It's all a dishonest game.
That's it. If this gets back to you, we all know who the fuck I'm talking about. I don't think it's any fucking secret.
There's multiples now. So
there is multiples, and multiple of them are fucking dumb cunts. Mike Zeros. They're all fucking Mike Zeros.
But like this guy, this Mikey Sutton thing, like I believe him as much as I believe any of the other sources. Like I don't. So, like, well, I kind of want this to be true in a sense of, like, haha, but I don't, like, I'm not going to take this article, because, I mean, yeah, here's the deal. Here's the circular thing. I say something as a rumor, and then Tim writes an article about me saying something as a rumor, and then I cite Tim's article as a confirmation of my rumor that he's just reporting on, and then hashtag I was right. And it's like it's so completely dishonest.
It's garbage.
That's the problem.
No. I don't know. I don't know if I heard you correctly or not. But it's you saying a rumor, right?
Mm-hmm. And then I write an article.
Yeah, sorry, you did get that. Yeah,
and Tim writes an article about what I said on a video.
Yeah, and then I
cite Tim's article as proof that I was right.
Victory. That's it. Yeah.
Can you imagine how these conversations go when they're planning all this? Like, they're all patting each other, and
that's not how.
This is genius, guys.
That's not how reporting works.
No,
that's not how sourcing works. And I think it would go a long way, just as a suggestion, in case they're listening out there. Here's what I would do. All right. You got a source, start giving them code names, and then start telling your audience what the code name of this particular source is. So that when these things become obviously not true in the future, we can say, well, source Rhino is fucking never right, so I'm not, it's full of shit. He's got a bad track record. I'm not going to
believe that source.
I'm not going to believe his stupid rumors because he's been wrong here, here, and here. But it's all these just nebulous spies and sources thing, and we don't ever get even an idea that you could go to somebody with wrong information multiple times, and he's still then reporting your future rumors. He's still going to report the things that, like, you bring me bad information like once, and I make it public. Like, guess who I'm not believing ever again? Like, you gave me bogus information. So,
and I'm saying all of this. I'm saying all of what I'm saying right now because I'm a jealous piece of shit. Just to make it clear for everyone out there that I'm just a jealous piece of shit living in my own basement. Just spurging out because
Well, I'm doing it. I'm doing it for all the clicks and views on my channel that's not monetized, and I don't make videos on. Yeah, that's what I do. That's what I do it for.
Yeah. I just want to make it clear.
This whole I don't believe Mikey Sutton any more than I believe Mike Zero, because I don't have any reason to believe.
Well, let's
Mikey
get into
Sutton
this.
Is a valid source or has a valid source.
Let's get into this, and then we'll make that point.
Let me just hit this from Riff. The best sources ever. Yeah, we are your sources. We're your sources for fucking what's real and what's not. No. Go for it, Tim.
All right. So,
Thank you.
Thanks, guys, for the super chats. I always research this stuff whenever I hear one of these rumors, like, what's the original source? So it's Geekosity. So Disney expected to extend Kathleen Kennedy at Lucasfilm, or as Lucasfilm president, by Mikey Sutton, editor-in-chief and owner of Geekosity Mag. Disney will renew Kathleen Kennedy's contract as Lucasfilm president at the end of October. Sources indicate there were never any discussions, blah, blah, blah. They're just yakking on about the numbers of all the movies. And then a source explained, it's not like Kathleen wrote or directed any of those films. In Disney's minds, they brought in billions to their bank accounts. So all he's saying here makes sense in how the bosses would think of a leader of a business unit. If that business unit is successful, then you get the credit because you are the boss. It's the way it works. The CEO of a company, let's say it's a tire manufacturing company. If that is a successful business, like right now, they're going to get the credit for it. They're not out working on the line, right? They're not driving the delivery truck, but they're in charge of the fucking company. So what Mikey here, his source, quote unquote, is saying makes sense. But this could just be Mikey writing something that makes sense and then saying a source told him that. So
it's plausible.
It's the same thing as Gold Helmet Guy, except it's the opposite rumor, right? But it's no better than that because I don't know Mikey Sutton from The Man in the Moon. So I would like, this makes more sense to me, but at the same time, it's an anonymous source that he's, getting this information from supposedly. So I can't believe it.
I'm just going to say, you got to understand the way companies and CEOs operate, particularly companies that are long established. And it doesn't even have to be a big company; it could be a mom and pop.
Yeah.
But once they've kind of gotten the market share that they've kind of expected to get or have gotten, they've reached a certain saturation point where there isn't a whole lot of room to grow anymore, and it's more about maintaining than it is about growing. You get this fail up culture, and what that comes from is leaders who put people underneath them that are not good, they're safe.
Yes.
And Kathleen Kennedy is extremely safe, and here's why. She's kind of damaged goods, and that she is expendable. He could go either way on this one and probably justify it. He could go look, this misstep, this misstep, this misstep. But she's also been loyal. And people like Chapek, CEOs like Chapek, who like to put safe, obedient people, loyal people around him. And there's these kind of CEOs are a dime a dozen, and it doesn't even have to be CEOs. You could be dealing with a middle-level manager who does this. We've probably all experienced this in whatever workplaces we have. Why does this person keep their job? They're safe. They're not a threat. So Kathleen Kennedy is somebody who's going to follow orders because she's not in a position of strength right now. She's in a position of, I wouldn't say necessarily weakness, because her division has brought in money. It's made money. But she's not somebody that's untouchable anymore. So she's safe. He can keep her around. She's not a threat. Her age is one thing, and then the fact that there has been missteps at Lucasfilm, she's not going to gun for his job. He can keep her close. And let's not forget that she has demonstrated something that is an extreme lack of loyalty. And this kind of goes into the ScarJo thing, right? I believe that a person like Chapek does not give two shits about the creative talent that's underneath him. He thinks they're entirely disposable and replaceable. And for the most part, he's actually probably right. Actors are a dime a dozen. Really, they are. Yeah. Do you think only the top best actors are the ones that are getting in these A-list movies? Sorry, that's not the case. But okay, they had a problem, and if you agree with this or not, it's not about the exact circumstances of it, but basically Disney told a certain somebody on the Star Wars project to shut the fuck up on Twitter, right? She didn't shut the fuck up on Twitter. Kathleen got rid of her. Or Chapek got rid of her, and Kathleen didn't do the Feige thing, right? Where he's like, oh, I wouldn't have done it that way. I really like my actresses, and she didn't go to bat for him. She kind of kept her mouth shut and just went about her business. Followed orders, got rid of the problem, went on with business. Now, Feige, on the other hand, is the kind of person that Chapek hates. A person like Chapek hates. I don't know personally, because I don't know any of these people personally. But Feige is the kind of person that's the passive-aggressive ones. won't make any calls on his own, but then publicly kind of take jabs at the decision after the fact, after he kind of feels it out, right? And the ScarJo circumstance is a perfect example of that.
Mm-hmm.
ScarJo sues. Disney comes out with their response, which was pretty aggressive, much more aggressive than I think people expected. And Feige kind of went to bat for ScarJo a little bit in the press. Now, a person like Chapek, who likes to be around safe people, does not like a guy like Feige. Feige's a threat. He's got the massive success of the MCU behind him. And he's got the press's attention. He makes a statement out the press. It gets out there because everybody's like, "Oh, Feige's the best. Feige's the miracle." Like, people worship Feige like they worship Filoni for some reason.
Yep.
Now, I think Chapek is 10 times more likely to get rid of Feige in the next year than Kennedy. Because here's the thing. All of Feige's movies that are coming up on the slate maybe saves the Spider-Man movie that we talked about earlier, which is really a Sony movie, are going to be flops. Feige's going to be in a position where all of a sudden, like, the golden goose ain't laying any more eggs.
Yeah, but that's kind of like the same thing with Dan and Dave from the Hunger Games, the fucking, what's it called? Game of Thrones.
Exactly.
You know, they got all this hype because they were doing the Game of Thrones and everybody was loving it. So Star Wars said, you know, come with us.
Until the goose stopped laying eggs, and then everybody got rid of them.
Yeah,
because they didn't like them because they got bigger than their britches. See, a guy like Chapek, and that's the head of Disney, is looking at some of these people like, who the fuck do these people think they are?
Yeah,
this is my fucking company.
I look at the thing.
You're a bunch of fucking piss ants. You'll do what I say. But that's why I think Feige's gone before Kennedy. Because if I'm right about the type of personality that Chapek is, he likes Kennedy and hates Feige. Feige undercut him.
This is the thing that I hate about the Gina Carano thing, right? Is actually the fans. Yeah, okay. She's a great person, an individual person, and what happened to her was disgusting, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this is what it took. Something as simple as that, her being sacked on social media for a post and this and that, right? When they are consistently destroying Star Wars within the story that they're telling.
It was the fact that they told her to shut the fuck up on Twitter and she didn't. That's why they fired her. It had nothing to do with it.
No, I understand that. But what I'm saying is, like, now there's people out there that are going, someone that we've been talking about recently came out with a video and said that the only way that I will come back, right, is if they decanonize the sequel trilogy and offer Gina Carano her job back. What does offering Gina Carano her job back have to do with saving fucking Star Wars? Absolutely fucking nothing. Absolutely nothing. That person, as Greg was just saying earlier, can be recast. Actors are a dime a dozen. And you are worried about, because I like Gina Carano and I like her politics, better offer her job back.
Her character is not significant to the overall story.
I'm not coming back.
You don't even have to recast her.
What does that have to do with the price of fish in China? Honestly, what the fuck?
Does that list of demands, speaking of China, include no longer using the Uyghurs? Does it include discontinuing their critical race theory training that got exposed about six? I could make a huge list of demands.
I also just want to touch on this really quickly. Terminus, thank you for the $2. I think it's high time Doomcock got cancelled. Now, I do not advocate that at all. He is well within his right to do whatever the fuck he wants.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
The thing that I have a problem with is then it's when there's plain and pure evidence that the opposite is happening, or I push back against it. It's I'm the enemy, right? I thought that we were allowed to have differing opinions. Now, I'm not saying that I agree with that person's opinions at all, right? Mm-hmm. But he is well within his right to report it. What I can't believe is how many times somebody can go, look, somebody's writing Gullible in the sky, and everybody fucking look.
That's it.
Somebody's writing Gullible in the sky. Oh, where?
That's it.
Yeah, look again. Somebody's writing "Gullible in the Sky." Oh, where? Look over there. Somebody's writing "Gullible in the Sky." Oh, where? That's what pisses me off.
Yep.
So no, I don't advocate that at all. Again, Terminus, thank you for the $2. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. But when it comes out that Kathleen Kennedy has got a 4-year contract extension and it was signed in January 2021, and I come out and push that in people's faces, don't come back at me and say, oh, take it with a grain of salt when you've put out 20 billion videos spreading bullshit lies that I feel like you've made up. Because it's like Greg said earlier, verify your sources. Give them actual identities for us to decide. That's what pisses me off. And does anyone truly believe that Kathleen Kennedy is going anywhere when she's got fucking Indiana Jones that she's working on, which isn't going to be fucking coming out until well after her contract expires? She's got all these things that she's working on with Star Wars. JPEG, whatever the fuck his name is, loves her, right?
Bob.
John Favreau fucking praises about her. And they've made billions of dollars. Yeah, okay, Solo lost money. How many clicks do they need for fucking The Mandalorian? How many people do they need to cry about The Mandalorian? And then they come back and fucking punch you in the face anyway. Because you all had an emotional reaction to some musical fucking theater. Rah! Pisses me off.
Me too.
Couldn't tell.
How many times can you be told something and you is it ignorant? Is it denial? What the fuck is it? Star Wars is dead under Disney, under the umbrella of Disney. It doesn't matter how many Luke Skywalker cameos you give this shit, right? I've just been working on the Disney Star Wars Continuity Episode 2, Hyperspace. How many fucking times can I talk about hyperspace? But no, Gina Carano gets fired, and that's enough.
Well, it's not really enough because we're still watching and reviewing.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. If you guys listening right now have a friend or whatever that continues feeding this bear, whatever you want to call it, you continue to enable someone to come up with these false rumors by joining channels and just dumping money on them, then encourage them otherwise, because it is all false. It is false hope. And at the end of the day, spend your money somewhere else. Yeah, and I'm coming out and saying that because that's the reason this bullshit keeps happening. That's why we have to have streams on it, because someone is enabling it happening by supporting it, by going around with this cult-like behavior and hashtags and stuff like that. Tell your friends that are doing this to stop and knock it off. That's my advice.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere. Just like I don't think she's
stop going to the
anywhere.
Jim Jones camp. Sorry, Greg.
Yeah. Stop drinking the damn Kool-Aid if it tastes like shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, instead of just drinking it and it's like that clip you show on your channel and be like, "This is awful. You want more? Yes."
Yeah.
Or it's somebody's like, "Oh, this tastes horrible. Try it." No.
Yeah.
I'll take your word for it.
I will never forget. Law and continuity don't matter as long as you get an emotional payoff. I will never forget that.
Ever.
I will never forget it. Because if that is what is has the ability to type and click send, right? That is the mentality of that fucking person.
What bothers me about that is this idea and belief that people have that emotions exist in some sort of vacuum. They pop into your head and they're not based on anything in reality. You feel it's some mystical feeling. Like emotions just have no sources. They have no root in things. Like you love things, but you don't know why. And it's like, but there is always a why. Like there's always a reason. There's always some bit of rationale behind it. Feelings don't exist in a vacuum. They have to have some foundation. And if the foundation of those feelings, of Luke coming back and that emotional payoff, is if it's built in a swamp, it's going to sink. It's not real emotion. There's nothing behind it because the root of it is rotten. And in the case of that Luke Skywalker moment, is it because you got that, or is it because you were so upset with what you got in TLJ, and by comparison, this was some sort of relief? Because if you take TLJ out of the picture, that movie never happened, would that scene mean anything to you?
Dude, if the sequel trilogy was good and honored Luke Skywalker, and we got to see badass Grandmaster Luke Skywalker,
Yeah.
if we got that, the reaction to The Mandalorian would have been, nah, cool.
Well, I would have, like, me personally, I never was interested in seeing God mode Luke.
No, but what I'm whether or not it's God mode Luke or it's just a good version of Luke, what we got in
chapter
in the
16
sequel
was God mode Luke.
Oh, fucking oath it was. But what I'm saying is if what we got in the movies honored Star Wars and told a consistent story and the fans were loving it, right? When it got to The Mandalorian, well, we probably would have been loving that too. But getting to the Luke Skywalker moment in that, people wouldn't have been crying.
Well, no, and the thing is, it's all based on what we perceive of Luke from previous stuff. Like, the show itself, The Mandalorian, did nothing with Luke. He wasn't a part of the story at all until suddenly he showed up. There was no build-up. There was no development of his character. He just literally showed up.
And there's just as much character assassination in that version of Luke as there is in the other one, because Luke Skywalker would have been asking questions. Who's this Moff? What is this Imperial ship? I thought we destroyed the Empire, or we're pushing the Empire back. What are you doing here? None of that. None of that inquiry. None of that Jedi intuition, right? Yeah, he walks onto the ship, destroys a couple of droids, rolls up, and just takes the kid and leaves. Are you a Jedi? Yes, I am.
The way he
Luke Skywalker. That's just as much not Luke Skywalker as him trying to kill his own fucking nephew. Sorry, Tim.
Oh, I was going to say exactly that. The way he behaved was the equivalent of throwing the lightsaber over his shoulder, like not asking the questions. I remember the day
he was indifferent Luke.
Yeah, the day that I watched that, I was just like disgusted when everyone else was like on cloud nine. I'm like, yeah, this is just disgusting. Like, oh, and he just takes the kid and leaves. Like, that's all he cared about was the kid. I'm like, nope. Wouldn't have gone that way. That's not Luke Skywalker.
Well, right, and like, Luke being as advanced in his skill at that point in his life, and not really believable. There's so many aspects, but yeah, out of character. But it's what people wanted. It's what people built up in their heads as what Luke would be after Return of the Jedi, without taking any of the necessary steps in between. And you can have emotional payoff in a film or a TV show is a good thing if it's rooted in something. Mm-hmm. Like if you're paying something off that was set up within that movie or that show, but you're paying off something that had nothing to do with the show. It would be it's like as meaningful as Luke Skywalker showing to me It's as meaningful as Luke Skywalker showing up in an episode of Loki. Like there's like the show didn't set him to be in that universe at all. He just showed up, and it would
have made it a better show.
Maybe it would. Maybe Loki's a bad example, but
no,
you know what I mean.
Like Skywalker was what I was.
The show didn't.
Yeah.
It did nothing with Luke Skywalker except for show his face, and that's like, I find that kind of like attempt at emotional manipulation. I find that to be insulting, not rewarding.
I agree. Yeah.
Like I look at that and I'm like, that's insulting. Like you're assuming that that's all you needed to do. Well, they were right though. For the vast majority of the audience, I think that is all that they needed to do. And that's the more disappointing aspect of it is that, you know, I guess we've been so beaten down as a fandom that's now like the new bar is just these cameos. And again, you're like, this is spreading. You're seeing it in everything now. Like, okay, Spider-Man cameo. What is everybody talking about in that trailer? Doc Ock. And it's everybody's interested in the cameos.
But even the Bad Batch.
Okay, even the Bad
cameos.
Batch. And it's just going to be repeat. It's like, okay, we don't have to reboot anything. We can just have these characters just show up out of the blue, say a couple lines, and the audience is going to eat it up. Well,
I want to show you all something. I've been.
That's your standard for what's good. Then, like,
one more thing.
Honestly, just watch a static screen.
One more thing on this, and this is kind of funny, and it makes me question this supposed source. Disney was impressed at Kathleen Kennedy's ability to help make Star Wars a more diverse, inclusive franchise.
I can believe that.
I can believe it too, but just, you know, the way that all these supposed rumors from this source, that's a funny one. Like, it's just a funny one. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I can absolutely believe that.
I mean, it's contrived enough to make it seem believable. Yeah, that's my point. It just doesn't.
That a company like Disney would value that more than, you know.
Yeah. Actually, like this guy is going to come out and say that just because we'd believe it more easily.
Oh, it's not showing it, is it? No, it's not.
You got to use Firefox if you want to do that.
Okay. I was just going to play that scene without any sound, just to show you how emotionless it actually is.
Oh, didn't you make a video on this?
Oh, I've mentioned it. I haven't actually shown it without sound, but
well, be careful because you might get a claim or a strike.
Anyway. A strike during a live stream means no live streaming for a week.
Yeah.
Or no, 90 days.
If you take the school, yeah.
Well, it's different from if you get a strike in a video versus if you get a strike in a live stream.
Oh, okay.
Or at least it used to be. I don't know what the current rules are.
I think it's still the same.
I guess I got to take the school sometime soon.
Where he couldn't stream for like 90 days.
Look, I don't think Kathleen Kennedy's going anywhere. I think if she doesn't already have an extension, she's getting one. Even if she's not there, nothing at Lucasfilm's going to change. You can plainly see how John and Dave are talking about it. They're loving the work that they're doing. And based on what I'm seeing from some of the fans out there, they're loving it too. And it's still just as trash as everything else that's under the Disney umbrella.
Yeah, it is.
And, you know, if you want to watch the videos and believe the rumors, you know, good for you. Good for you. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm going to sit back and wait and see what happens, right, before I make any judgment. But if the truth comes out and really goes against some of these things that are being spread, fuck, you watch the videos. You watch the videos I make.
What? No, I think it's the predictable thing will be like if it goes the other way. Like if it goes that, you know, say tomorrow they announce that Kathleen Kennedy's been extended for 5 years or whatever. It's a very predictable response. Is there going to be? It's just going to be, well, they were rumors. I never said that they were true. And then the next part was like, okay, now let's pivot as fast as we can to be, to make some outrage videos about the fact that she was extended. And
but it's one thing.
And
it's one thing
predictably,
to say.
the audience will
Okay.
the audience will predictably eat that up and not even look back.
It's one thing
telling
to
you, that's
say,
what's gonna
take
happen.
this with a grain of salt, but it's then another thing to then in the next paragraph say, fucking, so I've heard this rumor from this person. I conferred with my other sources and my other agents, and they seem to double down on that. When does rumor stop becoming rumor? After so many sources have verified and confirmed, and how long does it take before a rumor no longer becomes rumor?
See, that's the thing that can never be answered, because generally the way it works in the journalism game is that if you can get it, second independent confirmation, then that's generally enough to go on as like, okay, I can report this as news. But even then, like, even on the news, they don't report it as fact. They still say like, my sources said, or to like, oh, my undisclosed source says this, or sources within the White House say this. They don't report it as necessarily fact. But they present.
I've got a source that's in close proximity to Mark Hamill, and and that person has actually told me that Mark actually punched Ryan Johnson in the face on set. Yeah, that's actually what happened.
God, I want to see the video of that.
Now,
but
the thing is that my source now, because I can't independently verify these accusations, you must take it as rumor and with a grain of salt. But my source did confirm that they heard a conversation that Ryan Johnson got punched in the face by Mark Hamill on set. And then after that, Ryan went to his trailer and said, look, if you don't apologize and stick your dick in my mouth, you're not in this movie. And Mark Hamill decided to stick his dick in his mouth.
All the places you could go with the story as you're making it up on the fly, that's where you go? Like you have some sort of fucking Ryan Johnson, Mark Hamill, BJ fantasy? Like,
remember
what the hell's wrong with you?
I just wanted to make those fuckers gay as fuck.
All I can think about is Ryan Johnson sucking my
nuts. Hey,
because I mean, let's be honest. Like, given what
shush.
All I can think about is Ryan Johnson sucking my nuts.
Yeah. But given what we know about Ryan Johnson, like, I think a more plausible story is that he wanted Mark Hamill to repeatedly like slap him and kick him in the nuts, because he seems like the kind of guy that would like to be like, slapped around. Like he'd get.
But hang on a second. That rumor that I just made up, despite the cock-sucking stuff, like the punching him in the face, that would be something that a lot of people would be like, yes, good on you, Mark Hamill, right? I could just make it up. You know why Kathleen Kennedy? No, I'm not gonna. I was gonna go into a little bit of my.
No. Yeah, reserve that in case you actually.
No, all right. I'll keep it for a rainy day.
It is.
I'll keep it for a rainy day.
Yeah, Tim and I both know where he was going to go with that one, and we're stopping you there, Rhino.
Yeah,
but yeah, like this whole rumor stuff. I mean, it's a game. If you want to consume it for entertainment purposes and lulls, like fine, but like, unfortunately, I see a large part of the audience that are just kind of eating it up, and that's really unfortunate. Because I think they're being taken advantage. I mean,
they're being taken for a ride again. Absolutely.
I think they're being a little bit taken for granted, or taking advantage of. Kind of giving people what they want to hear instead of the actual truth. And I wish that they kind of open their eyes and like actually like start thinking back to all the rumors and all the things, and all these things that like, well, they haven't been proven untrue, but they haven't been proven true either. Like, things like there's a George Lucas cut.
Or
Skywalker.
Things like there's
you can't
the world
prove
between worlds or the veil of the Force.
Yeah, you can't unprove a negative, right? Like, they could just say, well, it exists, and you say, well, no, it doesn't. And it's like, well, how can I prove that it doesn't exist?
Right.
I have no base of like prove it as to be absolutely false. I can very easily say like, well, it's not very plausible that he managed to be on set filming and cutting and editing a movie, and then they gave him the reels of what he did, and then he brought it back to his mansion, or he brought it back to his ranch, and that's where it sits. And then he showed it to some people, who then said to some other people that they said they saw it. Like, not very plausible. Like, but you can't prove it's untrue. I mean,
it's like they filmed multiple endings. Right. Remember they filmed multiple endings to The Rise of Skywalker, and then Kathleen Kennedy was the one that had last say, and she wanted her version or whatever it was. Right.
Oh, if you actually go to that like 6-month window between where, from like June from when Rise of Skywalker came out, the only really substantially accurate rumors were the Jedi Praxis and the Reddit leaks.
Reddit leaks, yeah.
And those aren't a particular person's sources. That was like the source directly dumping it on Reddit.
And that was where a lot of the rumor guys out there got their source material from for those rumors. Not being the ones that were right. If anyone was right, Reddit was right.
Yeah, Jedi Praxis was right. So, like, I can't credit that as like, oh, you were right about that rumor. It's like, because it really wasn't your rumor that you were reporting. You were reporting on somebody else's reporting. That would, So, like, I don't count that as, an accurate prediction. It's like, because you didn't predict it and it wasn't your sources. Like, that wasn't your scoop.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
again,
I'm
just
that's
what
right.
you want to believe. I reserve judgment and my own personal condemnation of you, if you believe it.
Yeah, I can't remember what I was going to say now, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah, the original. I didn't see what you said before. You're saying, but yeah, Colin Trevorrow. All right, I think we're going to wrap it up, guys. It's been a good stream. We got to talk a little bit about Marvel. I got to rage out about Star Wars and how ridiculous I feel the last year or two of Star Wars has really been going. And remember what Star Wars on YouTube was like before all of this?
No.
Like, people would talk, well, I watched a few lore videos and this and that, and they were just really good videos telling stories about telling background stories of certain characters or so many different things. Now it's all just the rumors. What's bad from my perspective, but what's good from other people's perspectives. There's no real discourse anymore within the opposing sides of fan bases. Because you can't have somebody else's opinion. It's really weird.
Discourse is overrated. Like, I don't want to live in a world where everybody agrees with me. How boring is that?
No. I'm not saying everybody's got to agree with you, but let me put it to you this way. If you've got somebody disagreeing with you and you can shut down their disagreement, jump on their objection with facts and actual information, and then they still refuse to accept that, then again, denial, naivety, I don't know what it is, stupidity. There's something wrong with you.
I don't know. Here, I'll put it the best way I can possibly put it as far as the rumors and stuff goes. It's like, I won't say people are retarded. I will say that if you believe the rumors are true, then I have got the most amazing, all-inclusive vacation package to Kabul that you could possibly fucking believe. It is
Direct
all-inclusive, 5-star dining, 5-star accommodations, wonderful air, like the best planes. I got the tickets for you. Just DM me on Twitter.
A nice seat on the wheel well.
It'll be explosive.
Yes. No, no, I don't endorse that.
What, did I take it too far again?
Well, yeah, given today's news, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. That might have been a little bit too much.
I mean, sometimes you got to make fun of it because it's just so infuriating. We won't get into current events. We'll do that tomorrow night, Tim.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And
speaking of
your just quickly, your commander-in-chief is a fucking retard. Should do videos in cars.
Tune in tomorrow night.
Press conferences in cars.
I don't think he quite qualifies as retarded. He's like below that.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. We're going to wrap it up here, guys. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. Appreciate all the super chats. Let me give you... Oh, no, we'll do it on the outro. Thank you, everyone, again, yes, for your super chats. OG, thank you for modding. All my patrons, channel members, everything, I thank you all for coming. Just quickly, what I'm working on, of course, is that second episode of Disney Star Wars Continuity, the Mandalorian edition. There's not really too much. Any news that sort of comes up, I might end up doing a video on these topics regarding Kathleen Kennedy working on The Mandalorian. I might even do a review of the Mandalorian, that behind-the-scenes thing that they did. I might give that a watch and see. But
hey, I want to say one more thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
Like, can some of these people that are like doing these interviews, like journalists and whatever, like do their fucking job? Just like questions. A couple, like just once or twice a year, like do your fucking job. Like just if you're interviewing Favreau, ask him point blank, was Kathleen Kennedy allowed on the set of The Mandalorian?
Yeah.
Just ask him that. He's gonna laugh and say, of course she was there a whole bunch of times. Mm-hmm. But just ask the question.
But here's the problem. All this shit isn't in like mainstream media. This is all the nerd websites reporting on this. I guarantee most Hollywood Reporter and Variety, I guarantee they don't even know what the fuck this is about. Yeah. Guarantee.
Well, and even if they do, they're going to be like, of course she was like on the fucking set. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, especially since, like, you know, if it's being filmed close to where she like lives and works.
Yeah,
of course. Fair enough.
Like this great new technology that they've invented to be able to film in the way that they film. Like she didn't want to go check that out at all after like signing the check for that motherfucker. I think she was there.
One last thing from me. Eric July, Young Ripper, will be on the Full Aussie tomorrow night.
Oh, no shit. Awesome.
Yeah. So he's going to be joining us. That is going to be an awesome show. So go over to Lethal Lightning's channel, subscribe, all of that stuff, and we'll be seeing you all there tomorrow. Tim, thank you for being here as usual. What have you got coming up, and where can people find you?
Yeah, hopefully Young Ripper can live up to my appearances on the Full Aussie. We'll see if that happens. Yep. But yeah, Greg and I, as he mentioned, are on my second channel tomorrow night, Grounds of Expediency. It looks like Blake put the link out there. I'm past 50 subscribers, so definitely subscribe. Nice. And let's try to get it to 100. And I think we had a lot of replays from last Friday, so definitely show up. We're talking about Afghanistan. We're talking about liberty and lockdowns again, and whatever else comes to our mind. So definitely be there. Me and the Grand High Priest here. And then nothing Saturday night. Nothing going on Saturday. Then Sunday we should be back for Star Trek. I guess we'll talk about horror hot women
of Star Trek.
Yep. And then Monday night, the second installment of Indecent Behavior with Deadwood Dale, and it sounds like we have a special guest. It sounds like it's okay to announce that, right? Greg? And that is Literature Devil. So you've seen him out there on Twitter. Pretty good sized channel. And he has some videos that I can jive with. And I think we'll have a good conversation with him. So definitely check out that show. There were a lot of people streaming last time we ran our stream. So hopefully we get more people
like
this
9
time.
people fucking
Yeah, big channels too. With a lot of crossover audience, but definitely be there on my channel on Open Airlock Policy on Monday night because it will be a good conversation. But as always, thanks for having me.
Yes, of course. And this, you just need to change Mickey with Kathleen Kennedy and a big fat cock.
Wow.
Yep. And OG, she's going to be getting some leggings. She wants to collect leggings for all different channels she supports. And yes, I do have leggings in my store. OG, let me know if you want the design like moved on the image because I just sort of put it on there and it's only on one leg. I don't know how to change that. Like I know how to move it around, but should they just be all small little ones all over the place? I don't know. Let me know.
The word fuck should be right over the ass cheeks.
Yeah.
Skirmitar made this for me. Ask her if she'd be interested in that.
What is this? Hey, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, Skirmitar sent that to me several weeks ago. So, yeah. I don't know.
Do they come with the chick?
That's what I was
thinking. Look at that ass.
Right there.
All right. Holy Order of the Jab. Grand High Priest, Greg, Lost Jedi 22, John, and Tuscan Bob. Please let everyone know where they can find you, and thank you for coming on.
Just Lost Jedi 22 on Twitter and on YouTube. Haven't really been making any content, but go ahead and subscribe. Watch some of my old videos around the Mandalorian and Star Trek Picard. I was going to go through and do stuff on Lower Decks, but I could only stomach one episode, and I have not watched any more. I don't even know if they're on what episode they're on. Probably 3 after.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right. Yeah.
I remember when you were watching that.
I can't stand that game. Oh, those characters.
I remember when you were watching that religiously, just so that you could like do a review or something, and it just he was not liking. It's kind of like me with the Bad Batch, except I think worse. It was
but I think the characters in that show are way more obnoxious than Bad Batch.
Yeah.
Way like intentionally obnoxious. They shout all their lines. They're all neurotic and screamy and like ADD. And like I just If ever there was a reason to have an airlock on a ship, those characters are it.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for coming on. Everyone, go and subscribe to both of these great gentlemen. Follow them on Twitter, all of that good stuff. Thank you, everyone in the chat. OG Star Wars for modding. Blake for modding as well. E. Clay Thomason. Soul Assassin. Almost said Assassin's Creed. I've been playing so much Assassin's Creed recently. Trey Courtney. Let me scroll up a little bit. Timon, thank you for all your super chats. Stephen. Riff, all you guys, everyone, Mike, thank you. Metal Long, Stunning and Brave Megatron, Blue-Eyed Scorpio, you're hilarious, brother. I love you. All you
send
guys.
me the link, Blue-Eyed.
Thank you. What did he say?
Friend me on MySpace, everybody.
Right now, his only friend is Tom. Right now, so.
That's funny. All right. Thank you, everyone. I'll play you this for the super chats, and then you'll get the credits and outro. Thank you, guys. Bye, everyone.
They came bounding over.
Fuck off, Disney! You fucking cunt!
I told you I could help. The Book of Avar Chris. Read it. We'll talk afterwards.
I don't read.
Disney Star Wars.
You will.
He hates me. They all hate me. That's why they're doing this. It's to make me crazy.